Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. What's going on? How are you? I'm just checking in on you and all that bullshit. I think I'm finally getting over this fucking whatever the hell I had. I think I had a touch of Ebola. You know what I mean? We just do like a wheat juice shot of fucking wheat juice. I did. I think I had a little fucking Ebola in there, man. Stupid. I'm the worst when I get sick. I just keep, plowing ahead like an asshole. My wife just sits there going like, you need to lay down. You need to lay down. You need to take this and just lay down. And then it like bothers me because she's telling me what to do. Right? So then that stupid part of my brain that doesn't want to listen to people when they tell me what to do, even if they're giving me good information, causes me to be like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fucking fine. I can tell you this right now, man. Don't ever have turmeric in your life and then go commit a crime because you're going to leave a fucking trail. I mean, that shit just, it ended up on my, I had it down in the kitchen. It ended up on my bathroom towel. I went on the internet and I got one of those stupid fucking, recipes. Take some garlic and some lemon and some turmeric and some fucking honey. It's got to be all natural honey. Make this concoction and ginger and boil it all up and all of this shit, Oh, no, I didn't do the turmeric one. I did the one with the orange. And then, see how it worked? Then somebody else made the turmeric one. And so how the fuck did I... Well, I know what happened. I spilt a little on the floor, and I was in the bathroom because I went upstairs to drink it, and then I put it on my towel, and it looked like my towel was glowing. I'm like, what is that? It looks like a highlighter's on it. I found out it's turmeric, which evidently is really good for your liver, especially after you did like 5 nights in a row of NyQuil, which is like taking, George Foreman body shots without blocking them, I guess, to your liver for like 5 nights in a row. So... I don't know. I don't know what the hell this thing is, but I think I'm finally past it. Anyway, it's nice. It's nice to sort of be back. I go on the road tomorrow, right? Or today when this thing's coming out, right? Oh my goodness. I go to Jacksonville, Florida, right? That's most people when they go to Florida, they go to Miami. Or they go to Tampa. Not me. I go in feet first. If I'm going to Florida, I'm going to Florida. All right? I'm going to go to the part of Florida that scares most people that live in my city. I'm going to go to Jacksonville, Florida. Should be an easy show now that Trump is, starting back up again. Oh, God, that fucking asshole's coming back. That means Joe Biden's going to win again. Jesus, can we get away from these two fucking people? This is like, the two of them are like when Freddy Krueger and fucking, Jason started making, didn't they do that? Freddy versus Jason. And you did one of those movies, you're like, who the fuck am I supposed to be rooting for here? Anyway, so I'll be dealing. So anyway, they will be in a good mood. So that's good. And then, who doesn't want to be in Florida this time of year? What East Coaster doesn't want to be in Florida in like November? Starting to get cold up north. Oh, wait, I live in Los Angeles. You know what? I don't. Because I'm already living in that weather. Actually, you know what I do like about living in LA is going to Florida, like Jacksonville, it's straight shot. You literally just get in the airplane and he gets over the 10 and he follows it from LAX in Santa Monica and follows it all the way to Jacksonville. Do you realize that? How long that goddamn street is? Or a highway? I mean, that is fucking insane that people did that. That they all got together, I'm sure Native Americans had something to do with it or, black people that didn't get credit. I have no idea. At some point, they'll make the true Hollywood story about whoever built the fucking 10 freeway. Anyways, but how about the Bruins and the Celtics? All right, it is football and basketball season, and who has the hottest fucking arena in the league? That would be the TDF Bank North Garden Illuminati Bilderberg Center, where the two of them play. Bruins 14-2, baby. Rapidly approaching their greatest start ever from 1930, whatever. I heard what's his face, Jack Edwards, say it the other night. It was 1930 something. We started off at 19-2. We are 14-2. Celtics have pretty much a similar record, which is great with the fiasco that happened with our coach, who's now suspended. It's great to see that we can just fucking hit the ground running and with the two J's, and everybody's just moving right along. It's fucking fantastic. We're not like these other states and cities that need like 52 fucking teams in each goddamn sport. Couple, 2, 3 here, 2 over here, 1 over here. We got 4, 1 in each sport, and they all fucking win. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. One starts losing, the other guys pick it up. It's been an amazing run. So I was thinking, I don't think anybody's ever won a Stanley Cup and an NBA championship in the same year, in the same building. I know they've gone to the finals because the Bruins and the Celtics were in the NBA finals and the Bruins were in the Stanley Cup final. Or is it the other way around? I always forget. In like the late 80s. And it was into June, and it was so hot in the building because the old Boston Garden did not have air conditioning. And I remember the ice was all slushy on purpose because we were trying to slow down the Edmonton Oilers. There was literally like fog. There was a marine layer over the... there was so much humidity above the ice that when the air came within contact to the ice, the air was then cooled to its dew point, which is when moisture becomes visible. I still remember that from my private pilot test. And that's when my uncle Glenn Wesley just shot it over the crossbar. I remember that one. And you had that, who was it? Not Reagan. The fuck was our goaltender? Anyway, they're doing great. And how about that call I made Monday night? Wet it, woo-doo-doo. The Commanders, not only did they cover 11 points, they won the fucking game. And that's good for all those old-ass Dolphins who want to fucking celebrate like, nobody's broken their fucking record yet, which is the stupidest thing ever. It's like nobody ever is, because just to tie their record now gets you out of the regular season. I think it's one of the sillier fucking things out there. But, if that helps those old guys out, I guess that's all right. But I was rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles to do. I'm rooting for somebody to do it. But then I think that then what they're going to do for the rest of their lives is now that's the tradition is that you got to like hate on the younger players or whatever the fuck that is. That would be like me being an old comedian, and if you had like the most successful stand-up special of all time, every time a comedian put out a special and it wasn't the more successful than yours, you'd like drink a little bit of champagne. Sorry, I'm still on a lot of fucking cold medication right now. I golfed on Monday. I had a great time with Andrew and Peter from, was it Louder, that clothing line? I had a fucking blast with them. It was just fun watching them play. They were so goddamn good. And then there was another guy, Tommy Irons, we were calling him, because once he switched from his clubs to his irons, he started smashing the fucking ball off the tee. Had his own winery, And I get golf. You meet all these fucking interesting people, and what they do for a living is really interesting. And then you walk around and just give each other shit, joke around and all of that stuff, and break balls. I don't know where the carving up the United States happened, but it definitely does not happen out on the golf course, at least as far as my experience. And listen to this. Old Billy Freckles was out there. I played terrible, even for me. Like, I forgot how I had, mastered my own little Charles Barkley swing. But someone was nice enough to take a slow-mo video of it, and oh my God, it is a thing of ugly, you know? It's sort of a smoothed out Charles Barkley, but at least Barkley goes all the way back. But I don't stop at any point. Anyway, played 18 fucking holes. I got through 15 and then I had to leave because I had some shit to do with the movie, but I had a fucking blast. And we were playing out in Camarillo and we were right near the airport. And I've flown out there, had lunch out there a million times, flying out there, and it was really cool to see the airport, from that golf course. I'm always flying over it to be on the hill and looking down at it and shit. And a great bunch of people. Comedy Gives Back is the name of the charity. And but anyway, I had to take off fucking early. But I got to be honest with you again. Like I don't know if I got it in me. I can do 9 holes. 18 holes is just like, I don't know. You feel like you're on jury duty, I will say I was amazed, though, at how well those two guys from Louder were just fucking crushing the ball. I mean, just straight a mile anytime they wanted to. I felt like I was watching ESPN highlights. It was fucking awesome. So anyway, I'm getting geared up here to do some shows. Got to make sure I fucking rest the voice there. I have no idea what's going on in the world, so this should be fucking interesting. Still haven't smoking any cigars, no soda, no weed. My coffee is off the fucking rails. I mean, you got to do something, right? Usually I would be going to the gym, but I just been doing this all fucking week. What's funny? I borrowed my wife's car, and she had on her playlist, she had this artist, Bia. And I started listening to it, and the drum tracks were really cool, and she was like fucking hilarious. And then I found out she was from Massachusetts, and I downloaded the album, and I fucking loved it. I've been listening to that like nonstop. It's kind of funny, like some of the funniest women out there are like rappers. Bia, is that how you say? Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. My wife listens to all that in the car. I was just listening to their stuff, and I was fucking cracking up. And the drums are great, too. It's all this weird shit that a human being wouldn't think to do, I feel. And I also feel it's a Cardi B song for drummers out there. Download that one, Money. And it's got these hits, right? In the beginning, just on piano with a little bass drum underneath it. It's on the 1. Next bar, it's on the 2. And then it's on the 1. And it's fun to like solo, try to solo. I mean, I can't do that. But like in between those and then coming out on those hits is, I don't know. I find that a little more fun than listening to a fucking metronome. So anyway, let me do a little bit of the fucking reads here. Jesus Christ, here's another phone call. Hang on a second. All right, I'm back. I had to take a quick phone call there. Anyway, you know what I did last night? I watched a fucking highlight reel of Dick Butkus. Holy shit. What a fucking joy that was to watch. Talk about a guy who could play in any era. I haven't watched a Dick Butkus highlight reel in a long time, and it was just fucking, it just took me back to when I was a kid. There was something about those highlights from the 60s and the color and that NFL film is just like, and then also it's right before those cookie cutter stadiums got made in like, the late 60s, early 70s, a lot of them, and you see like teams playing in like baseball stadiums and shit, like baseball stadiums that don't even fucking exist anymore on like 2 levels. It's like the football team is playing in the baseball stadium that no longer exists. And just watching that guy on every play, just beating the fuck out of people. Whenever I saw Ndamukong Suh play and get in trouble and all that, like I never felt he was like a dirty player. I just looked at that guy like that guy is playing in the wrong era. Like I'm telling you, if you've anybody out there who's good at like splicing shit together, you could make a video of Dick Butkus, Sam Huff, Deacon Jones, all of those guys. All right, the fearsome foursome, the purple people eaters, doomsday defense. You could drop Ndamukong Suh right in there with the same fucking music. And other than the turf that he's playing on and how glossy it's going to look, that guy would fit in. Like that shit where he stood when he got up and he stepped on that guy. And people are like, oh my God. It's just like, I mean, that was just how it was done. You should really watch some of those old NFL films if you get a chance. Specifically, the Oakland Raiders of the 70s, the Soul Patrol, and those fucking guys. They didn't want to break up the pass. They wanted you to catch the ball so they could basically assault you. One of them, like you'd be running out of bounds, and the guy he had like a cast on his arm. He would just come all the way back, and then his tackle was he would just forearm smash the side of your head and knock you out. Speaking of which, somebody was showing me Dana White just bought some league of, those videos where people just stand there and they let each other slap each other? Like, that's going to be like a new sports league. And like the gambling potential of that is like right up there with drag racing, which was one of the easiest things I ever gambled on. I remember going into it, and this guy would just be standing up, and everybody in our section was gambling, and he would just point to one side of the track, and people put their money on that one, and then point to the other, and you could just sit there and gamble all day and sit in the sun and fucking drink beer. You're going to be able to do that with this slap fest, whatever the hell they call. My only thing is I hope those kids, the people who are doing that, put an earplug in or something. Because if somebody slaps you that hard and catches your ear, boxes your ear, your fucking eardrum's going to explode, I would think. You know me. Most people are about the CTE right now. I'm about protecting the ears. Everybody's trying to protect the brain now. I'm not. Anyway, decided to look into... Karen Bass becomes first woman elected as Los Angeles. I thought she already was the mayor. I had no idea. Oh, so LA's Giuliani didn't get in. Giuliani meets Bloomberg. Oh my God, Donald Trump is back. Jesus Christ. Just when you thought it was safe to go on Twitter. Oh my God. Oh God, do we got to listen to the liberals fucking whining / helping to promote the guy? Anyway, I will tell you this. I am going to fucking ignore this election like, a relative's coming to the town that you don't want to fucking see. Not even a relative. I actually get along with my relatives. Let's fucking frame that better. Let's say I get along with my wife's friends. All right. Let's just say my wife had somebody who was a fucking loudmouth asshole. You know what I mean? And then had another friend who started to say something and forgot what they were saying in the middle of it. Just imagine if they had both of them over the house for fucking 2 years. I would definitely figure out a reason to go out to the garage. Let's put it that way. Anyways. Fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at them just still going after Dave Chappelle here. What the fuck? You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. They leave the FDA alone. They leave pharmaceutical companies alone. And they just will fucking try to turn over every fucking stone they can. I saw that monologue. It was fucking... It's a great monologue. Yeah, it was measured. Like, what is the problem? It was jokes. Fucking unreal. You would think the guy came up with synthetic heroin and got people addicted to it, and a bunch of people's relatives died. You'd think that that's what happened. All right, let's do some reads here. Helix, everybody. Helix? Helix Sleep is a premium mattress brand that provides tailored mattresses based on your unique sleeping preferences. The Helix lineup includes 14 unique mattresses. 14, like Steve Grogan, including a collection of luxury models. A mattress for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. So, how will you How will you know which Helix mattress works best for you and your body? Take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. And your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your front door, free of charge. Helix knows that there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. That's why they offer a 100-night risk-free trial. Try out your new Helix mattress, see how your body adjusts, and if you decide it's not the best fit, you're welcome to return it for a full refund. Gross. Plus, Helix mattresses are American-made. Yeah, fucking made right here in the old fucking USA. And come with a 10 or 15-year warranty, depending on the model. I think it depends if you're not like thrashing around in the throes of if you're kicking heroin in it and you sweat all over it, you probably knocks off 5 years, right? And remember, you get to try it out for 100-night risk-free. If you don't love it, I know you will, but if you don't, they will pick it up for you and give you back a full refund. What is there to risk? You try it out. If it's not the best night's sleep you ever got, you fucking give it back to them. Thanks for letting me try it out, right? You can't do that with a pizza. Don't want to take my word for it. Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress picked by GQ and Wired magazine. It's even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving sleep. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Burr. With Helix, better sleep starts now. And I'll tell you right now, if you get one of those mattresses, lay off the fucking coffee. Woo! Anyways, Bruins got the Flyers. The filthy fucking Flyers. I was watching some of their highlights the other day. Remember when Chelios elbowed that guy in the fucking head on the Flyers and sent him to the infirmary? And then a few games later, Ron Hextall came skating out of the fucking goal and attacked Chelios. I mean, those were the days. Those were the days. And you knew when you were there. Here's the thing. I signed up for the center ice package and all of that shit. Is it me? Or, I used to sign in on NHL.com and I could fucking watch the games. But now I feel like because they're on ESPN, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Am I nuts? Can somebody fucking twiddle at me or Instagram at me? By the way, I'm getting excited and I'm getting nervous. I got my pickup trucks coming. All right? My little Christmas gift to myself. I ordered it fucking months ago. And this complete, absolute fucking horseshit that there's not enough computer chips is just one of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my life. Like, why are there not enough computer chips? It's just like the oil companies. Oh, they just stopped producing it. So now the price is going to go through the roof and then whoever's president is going to get fucking blamed for it, It's like, why aren't there enough chips? I think that they're just getting something about CarMax and people ordering cars online. I think they're trying to phase out how the way Tesla sells cars. I think they're jealous of that. So now they're acting like there's this fucking shortage and there isn't. And I think the future is when you go in to buy a car, there's just going to be one price, no salesman. Everybody gets fucked. And you order it and we'll talk to you. We'll get your money immediately. And then we will talk to you in about 6 months. I think that's how it's going to go down. I think that's the way that they want to do it. And if they made jokes about that and did a monologue as a stand-up comedian on SNL, I think that they would actually maybe get investigated. And they would try to figure out like what was going on. I don't know. I don't know what to say here. All right. Other than that, I'm trying to conserve my voice because I have 3 shows this weekend. I want to thank everybody out in the great state of Florida. Everybody's going to be in a good mood. Your boy's coming back. Orange Jesus with the greatest comb over since Mayor White in Boston. He had a great comb over. In my lifetime, it was where it was supposed to be. And by the end of his mayoral run or his tenure as mayor, it was like literally like just above his ear. And he was just combing all of it over the top of his head. It looked fucking horrendous. I always wondered what that looked like in the shower when you had a hairdo like that. Like one side of your body, your head, it's like your hair is above your ear, and then on the other side, you look like half of Ben Franklin. You know, it's like, what if Ben Franklin and Tim Conway had a baby? God bless the wife that just fucking hangs in there with that. I mean, that's just fucking... I saw a guy with a full head of hair the other day. You do that a lot as a bald guy. Like you look at somebody around your age, like, oh, look at that son of a bitch. God loves him. And I was looking at this guy, but he had a haircut that made it look like he was wearing a toupee. He had like this newscaster level, local newscaster still fucking crushing it at the Applebee's hair, right? And he had it combed back, but then for whatever reason, the front of it, he had it brushed down into bangs, just like maybe like an eighth of an inch, and then cut straight across. So he gave himself, like he had it lined up, like how the black guys do it, but he was like, he wasn't a white guy. I don't know what he was. But it made it look like that's what his hair was, and then it was bald behind it, and they just set this fucking, cowlick shit behind it. It was actually kind of fascinating, and there was a moment where I was like, if I don't stop looking at this, I'm going to get into a fight. So I just took my cup of coffee and I walked out. I mean, that's how you do it as an old dad with 2 bad shoulders. When you feel the confrontation coming, you just walk away with your coffee. That's just how it goes. And there's not even a moment's shame. That's how old you are. You just walk away and you're glad your pancreas is intact. You're not going to lose your spleen, and you don't have to get all new fucking teeth. Because some guy with a cowlick and bangs stomped your face in while a bunch of fucking barista with fisherman hats watched. I don't understand why, if you make coffee, you have to wear a knitted hat like you're about to have a snowball fight, regardless of the environment. Oh, Bill, are you doing coffee house material now? Oh, I think I am. I think this might be part of my chunk this weekend when I go to Jacksonville, Orlando, Florida, and I don't know where I am going. Clearwater, murky water, gator water. I have no idea where I'm going, but you know what? There is some college football. I wonder what's going to happen. What do you guys think about fucking Michigan, Ohio State coming up? Is Michigan going to go into the horseshoe that's not really a horseshoe anymore? They're going to go in there and kick them in the dick? Can you imagine 2 years in a row? Those loudmouth fans just fucking eating it. Oh, my God. At the Ohio State University, the team that always seems to make the playoffs and get their fucking asses kicked every fucking time with the most boring goddamn playoff game ever. I'm just fucking with you. You win once every 10 years. All right, that's it. I think I've been a cunt enough. God bless you. Go fuck yourselves. Enjoy the next... enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the music picked out by the great Andrew Themelis. And then we have a bonus episode of another episode of the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast from a Thursday previous to this one. All right, that's it. I'll see you.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it is time for a special edition of the Monday Morning Podcast. You know, every once in a while, old Freckles here goes out and gets himself a guest, and today is no different, which is why we have a special podcast for this weekend. I can't think of this is probably the biggest. It's got to be the biggest guest I've had, an absolute legend. And usually when people say this shit, they can't. You know, people, you can't follow it. But believe it or not, I have from Aerosmith, legendary lead guitarist Joe Perry on the Monday Morning Podcast. How are you, buddy?
I'm really good, thanks. I don't know about the biggest part. I mean, most people say you look bigger. You look smaller in person. But
don't you hate that?
That don't matter. I mean, you know, it's all about the camera angle and all that stuff. But thanks, I appreciate that intro. And
do you get that a lot?
It's great to be here today.
Oh, sorry. Do you get that a lot? People say that to me. Like I don't know why they think I was tall. I'm average height. I'm just under 5'10". And then they always come walking up. They're like, I thought you'd be a lot bigger. It's
the way that the camera, because usually a camera, again, technically, I mean, the camera's kind of down at eye level because they want to get you straight on.
Right.
Or sometimes they'll shoot you from a little below, so it's really hard to tell. To get any kind of perspective, you know what I mean?
Right.
Unless you know how tall the person is you're standing next to, that kind of thing.
Well, I get it with you. It's like you're playing the L.A. Coliseum, and you're on like a 40-foot stage. I mean, I'm standing in some chuckle hut. It's just like I'm maybe 6 inches taller than I am when I'm not on stage. So I don't know. It's always like sometimes I just think people just say shit to say shit. Like, how do you deal with like? You know what amazes me about before we get going here, the reason why Joe Perry's here, he's got a new unbelievable book, Joe Perry, My Life in and Out of Aerosmith, that's available now, and if I'm not mistaken, it already went number 1, correct?
Well, I think it was it's in the top 10, was in the top 10 New York Times bestseller list. It was in the top 10 for 2 weeks. And
this is why your career has lasted for so long, because you're this honest. Most people would have just been like, yeah, man, it's number 1 all over the place.
Yeah, but it's like anybody that sees it. But the thing is, all they say is top seller, and they print that on the top, and that's kind of like the stamp that says that at least more than one person has read it. And the other thing is I'm not here just because of the book. I'm here because you're a bud from way back, and I've been looking forward to doing a podcast with you anyway.
Oh, that's awesome,
for
man.
a while. So it's it gives me a chance to yak about the book, but I also get a chance to have some laughs for a change.
Good deal. And I promise I'm going to try to steer away from the usual. So what's Steven like? How do you pick out your leather pants or whatever? Although I might ask you that one because I don't think
you can ask me anything you want, and I guarantee the answers will be totally different than they've been from before, because a lot of it's not so much the questions, it's how they're asked and who's asking them.
Oh, okay, all right, I like that. Well, here's one for you. Is what blows my mind nowadays with the whole Twitter thing and Facebook and the whole interactive thing was back in the day. There was no way for me to ever write you something that you would ever, I guess, fan mail or something like that. Just the level of like interaction that people can have. In fact, like when I bought your first albums, it was like maybe 80, 81 or something like that. So this was just before MTV.
Right.
I didn't even know who was who because I'd turn over the album.
Sure.
Well, I guess I got Greatest Hits first, and they didn't have a picture of you guys. But when I got like Toys in the Attic or something, I remember I turned it over and I was trying to figure out which one's Steve, which one's Joe, who's Tommy and all that type of stuff. How have you felt like having lived the old way, even pre-MTV, where people didn't, unless you were hardcore fans, they had no idea what you looked like, so you could be a little more anonymous if you walk down the street, to like this whole thing now where people can be like, nice book, asshole, why'd you pick this picture? You're sitting there eating toast in your fucking kitchen. Doesn't it annoy the shit? I hate the fucking heckles when I'm at home.
Well, it's interesting because you got to keep in mind that it's a very small percentage of the people that are out there. So a lot of times you can get like sucked into the whole Twitter thing or Facebook or all that stuff, all the different outlets that there are, and you can go, God, I can't believe that people think that, or how could they say that? And it's like, you got to remember that it's like maybe 1% that are actually like, looking at it. But,
well, how long
in
did
the
it
great
take you?
scheme of things, but it's kind of like, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It gives people a voice, and it's kind of like we've said before, it's like the town square, and you're hanging out in the town square, and anybody can say what they want. Some people want to stand on a soapbox so they can be heard, and very often they get carried away in a white jacket. But
so how long did it take for you to get to this Zen place? Because it's something that I kind of bad. Like most times I'm like, all right, whatever. Hey, whatever. The last 8 were good. What, are they all going to be good? But like just every once in a while, somebody just writes something so mean that I get like an urge to like, I just wish there was an app where you could find out where they lived and just drive over. And, it's funny. I drive over and then lose a fight to them. But, in my fantasy, I win.
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to do that to let off some steam. But not actually do it, but just kind of go through the mental process. But the point is that you read some of that stuff, and it can be so mean-spirited because they know that they're anonymous, and it's like kind of a drag. But I don't know. Lately, it's been pretty
positive.
Okay,
that's
it's
cool.
been kind of even, and you just kind of pay attention to the different ones. I mean, some people will only listen to like one particular thing, or they'll kind of drop into at different phases and things like that. So I don't know. It's just another outlet. But sometimes we do use it for input when we're talking about a set list. We're on the road. We're thinking about what should we put in there, and sometimes somebody will tweet a song. And we'll go, I think we remember how to play that one. We'll throw it in the set.
Can I put out a request?
Of course.
One that I've always wanted to see you play live. It's off your first album, Moving Out.
Well, let me write that down because that's one song that we do play once in a while.
Do you play that live?
We played it, I think, the second to last show of the tour. And we went right into Walking the Dog right after
you did?
So it was kind of like,
I think your first album is so underrated because that, if I remember correctly, you basically, you guys, even after you sold that album, you hadn't gone national yet. And it was kind of like, you kind of got like New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, sort of New England, and maybe just into Connecticut and New York.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really like, it was an uphill fight, Ma. I mean, it was, people think, and looking from the outside, they're looking at the trade magazines, and then all of a sudden there's a band on the charts, and it seems like they're overnight. But you forget. I mean, it goes. It's been the same ever since the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles spent years and years in those clubs in Hamburg, sleeping in the bathroom, working hard, I mean, busting their ass. And the same thing with us. I mean, we worked the clubs and kind of spread out, and we'd go through Ohio and play, all the towns in Ohio,
right?
And then making our way to Detroit. And Detroit, of course, their favorite band was Jay Giles, so they were willing to give another band from Boston a listen and give us a second chance, And when we went out there, they really took us to heart. And then coming back to Boston, the first album had come and kind of gone, but the record company gave us another chance, and we did the second record, and then they re-released Stream On. And it started to get played on the radio. That was back when DJs could actually play what they wanted.
I know, right?
I mean,
crazy now.
You could actually go up there and talk to them, play them something, and if it was any good, they would play it. It was pretty cool.
That's amazing. You know what? I was just back east doing Dennis and Cam's Comics Come Home.
Yeah. And
believe it or not, it was the 20th anniversary of that show. And I remember one of the times I did it, you came out and played with the band, which was awesome. And I'll tell you one thing that strikes me is every time I go back to Boston, because I moved away in 95, it becomes less and less like what I left, and I'm going to be, I'm going to get a greasy slice of pizza here, and then it's gone.
Right.
And I'm finding it, all these areas that used to be scary are getting like nicer and nicer. And I remember what always kills me was when they talk about when you guys were struggling. They're like, yeah, we were all struggling. We were all living in this beat up apartment on Commonwealth Avenue, which is like Park Avenue now, in downtown Boston. And I was wondering, do you miss, like when you go through Boston, I don't know how often you get to go back there. Do you like the direction it went with the whole Big Dig and turning Southie into like a bunch of condos and crap?
Certainly the Big Dig was an event in everyone's life who lives in Boston. But, I mean, there's no doubt. And,
why did they just make one fucking lane? They turned everything, it was a complete waste of time. Oh, and other than aesthetically, I'm fucking, I was driving to the airport. As I went to the airport, I tried to take the Ted Williams Tuttle. So I get off. I have a 7 a.m. flight. It's like 4:45 in the morning. And so I get off the Ted Williams exit, and then I get to the fork in the road. We make a left to do it, and there's all these fucking cones set up. So then I have to go by that and the Callahan Tunnel, flipping the fuck out, cursing Boston up and down for the fucking state worker meathead. And I don't even think that they did it by accident. I literally think that they do it on purpose. And then you fucking go through all of the bullshit. And once again, it's one lane to get to the airport. So it was like, what was the purpose of all of that?
It's like, go figure. I mean, it's all about progress under the name of progress. I mean, that's what this whole country's built on, and growth and all that. And I mean, I think that things have to change there. I don't want to get into that right now, but the bottom line is,
are you going to run for office?
I haven't been home that much. I've been out here, from the time we were working on the last Aerosmith record, and then going on the road, and then coming back and finishing the record, and then going on the road again, and then working on the book all through that. I've been spending all my time here, and
I know you sound like you caught a cold a little bit.
And the allergies here, it's like, it's really wet, in the back here. He's got, it's beautiful. I mean, he's got like fountains everywhere, and it's just beautiful. But the allergies get you. And I was just reading an article in one of the Huffington Post, or one of those things, and they were saying how that people's allergies, or not allergies, but their whole nasal thing was like starting to react to a lot of the differences, because they travel so much, and there are so many different things that affect people. And so if you're wondering why your nose is different, that's why, because your nose is working overtime. It's got nothing to do with anything from south of the border, or anything like that. It's just strictly your body reacting to the different stuff in the air, whether it's pollen. I mean, I know in Massachusetts, there's that time of the year where all the pine pollen comes down and it covers your car green and all that.
Yeah, you get sick then too? Or get
it's
conjective? It's got to drive you nuts.
It's terrible. It's like...
How do you handle that if you have like a show, if you're doing a Joe Perry thing, Joe Perry project where you have to sing?
Well, I have to use a little bit of that spray, that you get at the drugstore, and it works as long as you don't use too much of it, But it works, and it's then you get through it.
That shit never works for me. Somebody gave me that the other day. I'm doing a cartoon. We got to get you, like we have music and stuff in between your projects. Really? Yeah, we're kind of doing this thing. It takes place in like the 70s. I can't give too much of it away. It's not coming out for like another year, but we're doing some stuff, period stuff from the 70s. Like, you remember when Plant and Page used to do that call and response thing on the guitar?
Oh, yeah.
He'd be like,
yeah.
So we kind of got some people listening to music like that. And as I was driving over here today, I was like, Jesus Christ, I should have got you in on the fucking thing. We're having somebody try to put together like a song for us or whatever, but I'd love to have you come in, maybe even do a voice or something like that at some point.
That's one of the good things about all this technology is you don't have to be in the same room at the same time. I mean, certainly there's an advantage to that, but if you can't be there physically, you can certainly send the files and you can work on it and talk on the phone. I mean, I just did an overdub on one of Johnny Winter's songs. God rest his soul. And he called me up and said, "Do you want to play on the record?" And I said, "Yeah, great." And they sent me the files, and I played on it, and
like right from your house.
Record. Yeah. Well,
Jesus.
Here there's a studio right next door, so we went in and cut some
Well,
tracks.
as you noticed, I'm not too good with technology. I got to tell my listeners the embarrassing beginning to my podcast. I was in a rush to get over here. I'm freaking out. Joe Perry from Aerosmith, and I show up. I got 2 microphones. I got everything, but I only have 1 mic cord. And rock star Joe Perry goes, "I'll go next door and get one." Like he's getting, like he has all cool neighbors. So like he's like I'd go over and get a cup of sugar. He goes over and gets a microphone cord.
Well, it would stand to reason I hang around with kind of musical people, but also we stay at the hotel, the Sunset Marquis. I don't know where you're staying, but they have a studio downstairs, and that's the only hotel I know of in the world where you can call room service and get a microphone at 2 a.m.
Is that
I
right?
mean, if you're like, I've done a lot of writing. In fact, there's a picture of me in the room working on one of the songs for the record, and and we just set up with the computer and some outboard gear and some microphones, and we'll be sitting there, and I actually wrote the song there, and some of the tracks actually made it on the record. But we're just sitting in the living room. And it's and I needed a mic cord, and I called down, and they had it there, and it was.
Do you find that new technology makes you more creative, or is it like sometimes there's people out here where even if they like write, they're sitting there going like, well, I got to at least have an office where I go to sit down and write, because if I don't, I'm sitting here, the TV's here, the kitchen's here, I'm not going to create. Do you find the new technology where wherever you go, there's a studio, makes you procrastinate more, or do you work more?
It's definitely. A lot more. It takes a lot more get up and go to do it, because there are so many more distractions. There's no doubt about it. Everything from 1,000 channels on TV to whatever you're into. I mean, football 24 hours a day. I mean, whatever. There's so many things that it's an advantage because you can choose. But on the other hand, it's like. To be able to record in your own house can be like the worst thing and the best thing. I mean, you can always say, well, I can put it off till tomorrow.
Right.
Because you haven't booked time in a studio where they're going to charge you $1,500 a day, whereas you've already put a deposit down on a studio, and
right.
So you have to go. So there's kind of like there's that end of it, and then there's also, but it really has to come from inside, and you have to really want to do it. And you're a creative guy. You see things obviously
Joe, I wouldn't go that far.
In a different way than most of us.
I wouldn't go that far.
And you see the humor and stuff. And stuff that would never occur to the rest of us, but that's why you make us laugh. And the thing is, that's an art. And it's
let me ask you this: you said that Sunset Marquis is the only hotel that you know that you can order a microphone. What's the craziest thing you ever ordered? Room service. You're on the road. You're in the middle of nowhere.
It wasn't so much the craziest thing; it was the quantity.
Oh yeah, we talking grams here? What did you order?
Well, enough for, say, 30 people.
What is
Dom Perignon by the case? I can remember staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel in the 70s, and it was kind of like the Party Central, because they have bungalows out back. Like,
jeez,
it's
the
really
70s,
cool.
and everything can be cured as far as STDs go and all that. I mean, do you ever miss it? Like, I look at some of the 70s, right?
Yeah.
And I just really wish, I mean, of course, it's all been romanticized in books and movies and all that shit, but do you, like, aside everybody likes being younger, do you miss those days, like, thinking about, like, just how a lot freer and crazier you could be without worrying about somebody with a cell phone camera? I'm talking about single Joe Perry. I got this drinking and drugging thing under control. Like, you're just having a good time. You're playing with your band, you're selling records and all that. Is there a part of you that you ever like when you're driving down Sunset and just looking at spots going like, dude, I fucking bought a kilo of Coke there and I had one of the best hot dogs I ever had in my life, hanging with John Bonham or something. Do memories like that still come?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, especially here in LA, and there are a couple of places that are still, the same buildings. Some of them have changed the names, but I mean, there's the Whiskey A Go Go, and there's Book Soup, which has been there forever, which is one of the greatest bookstores going, next to City Lights up in Frisco, and then there's one in Paris that's really good. But there are these certain places that are still there, and the Rainbow and the Roxy, and
who are some of the people you remember seeing in the rain? Just because fans are like me, who are like nerds, it's like you just want to go to the same place that they stood in.
Chances are, if they were playing in town, you could almost guarantee to see whoever was playing. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the time, a lot of people would just, if they were in the middle of a tour, they had a couple of days off, they would definitely come to LA to hang out, because there's such a great scene here for, back then. And you could literally run into anybody there.
What's the craziest thing you ever saw go down at the Rainbow Room or the Whiskey or whatever? Like the most.
Well, I only hung out there a few times because
you don't have to name any names. I'm not trying to get you in trouble with anybody.
But I just. It was just a couple of times I've been there. I mean, actually probably a lot more than I remember, but it's probably a lot more than I would forget. Actually.
Maybe you're the central person in the story. You just don't remember the story. One time I saw Joe Perry,
but it was basically a kind of a meeting place for everybody. They would come down from the hills, run into whoever, and then the tables would empty out, and as people would take off, and it was that kind of a place. But and I haven't been up there, since Jesus in forever. So,
I can guarantee you, I don't think they've changed anything. When you walk in there, all of the covers on the seat and everything just look like they've been there since the beginning of time.
I would bet. And the whiskey is pretty much the same. As I remember when we played there, our first time here in LA, and then we played there not too long ago, and it was pretty much the same.
That's cool.
It was a great vibe. It's kind of like the Paradise. I don't even know. Have they changed the Paradise at all?
In Boston?
Yeah.
Dude, the Paradise has been gone for, I think, almost 20 years.
Well, I guess they've changed it then. But
it's probably like
is it a club still, or is it a...
No,
is it
the deal. It's probably one of those fucking Panera Bread things, and you're just thinking, you too, and the Police started here, some of their first gigs, I guess, in the United States were here. I just realized as I'm sitting in here, you probably, can't imagine the amount of times you've sat in a room where there was just a suit of armor over in the corner.
Yeah.
Like some Scooby-Doo shit. This seems like some real rock star stuff. Like you just got to have a suit of armor near you, right? That helps your creative process.
It came with the place.
Oh, it did?
But oddly enough, I did have one in my house in the 70s. I had a suit of armor at the door. And
where do you buy that?
Well,
don't you have to buy a castle?
Once in a while, it's not a real one, obviously. I mean, it's not like one that I mean, you can tell it's like a mock-up of one, but it still looks really cool. And
how do you know it's not real? Because there's no marks on it.
If you look at where the screws hold it together, they kind of didn't cut off the ends. So if you were to put it on, you'd kind of look like. You just got attacked by about 100 mosquitoes or wasps or whatever, because all those nails would be sticking in you. If you took the helmet off, you'd see like the rivets sticking out. So it's really not made to wear.
I just looked at it and I didn't see any scuff marks on it. I just figured that was like the king's son. Who never had to go to battle, but he'd parade down the street in the fucking
that's
thing.
A good observation, because it's probably true. But I mean, it's probably copied off of a real one. But there are places you can get things like that. You see an odd one in the odd piece in the corner, or some home and garden place or whatever, and I guess that's where they come from. But,
hey, I saw you guys at Jones Beach in 2006. Awesome show as always, and Motley Crue was opening for you guys on that tour, and they're recently they're I think this is going to be their final tour and all of that. Do you remember the because I'm a huge, being a drummer geek, I'm a huge fan of Tommy Lee. He was just like, just the show that guy puts on while also playing a beat is just amazing. I've always loved him. And do you remember the first time you guys, did you tour with them during their when they were just young guys coming up?
Actually, I saw them at one of their first gigs at the Santa Monica Civic Center when I was with the project. I was out here doing some gigs. And
just for the fans, was this the first time Steven left during that period? Was this like early?
No. This was when I left in 1979, and I was out here with the project at some point. I'm not exactly sure when, but the bottom line is I got to see them play. At the Santa Monica Civic Center, which is, 3,000 to 5,000 seats, and the buzz was out on them, so the place was pretty packed. And
is that what got you there? You just heard a good buzz about them. You're like, I'm going to go check these guys out.
Yeah, and they said, somebody said these are this is the new hot band on the Strip, and you should check them out. And so I went down, and I'm not sure if I met them then, but there were. We had a couple of friends in common, and I remember meeting Nikki Sixx and just kind of like being kind of friends with them, from just kind of watching their career. And then we were in Vancouver doing, I think it was the second record, not Permanent Vacation, but I think it was the next one, Pump, I think, and there are two studios in that place, Little Mountain, up there in Vancouver, and they were in the other studio. And so we ran into each other a lot.
Oh, wow. So they were probably doing Dr. Feelgood right around then. That was 89, 90,
actually,
right?
That's right. They were with, let's see, Mr. Rock, the producer, was producing their record, I think. And
Bobby Rock, right?
Yeah,
that was
that's it. And he was, and they sounded great, and it was, we ran into them pretty much daily, and and of course some of the guys, they would tag after the session, they would tag along and go down to the clubs, Vancouver, reputably probably has the best. From what I've heard, has some of the best strip clubs in the world.
You gave them a ride, right? You're like, yeah, I'm the headliner. I'll give you youngsters a ride down there.
They knew everybody by the first name by the time
That's
they
hilarious.
left, I have to say.
Was that hard to be around guys like that? Because I know by then you'd long since cleaned up and everything. You had your fun basically at that point?
Not at all. I mean, it was not an issue. I mean, they were, and they, you know what, they. They would party like late at night after they were done. But when they came into the studio in the afternoon, they were all business, just like
That's what I figure. Is that a myth as far as people like?
It's not like they walked in with a bottle of Jack Daniels and said,
right.
"Yahoo, let's go." It's like they had work to do, and it shows because that was a great record.
Hey, did you ever call anybody out for doing the iced tea in the Jack Daniels bottle? I've heard of a couple bands, they would put iced tea in the Jack Daniels bottle, and then they'd go out in front of the crowd and act like they were crazy, and they'd just be chugging iced tea.
I heard about that, but I've never...
you never busted anybody doing that?
Never ran into anybody that did it, but I heard stories about bands doing that, but, of course, they don't rate very high on my respect list, but,
that'd be like a prop act with the comedian.
If you're going to drink it, you might as well drink it. You know what I mean? And what's the problem if you don't? So,
well, I don't care how the big giveaways. I don't care how much you drink. Nobody can chug hard alcohol. You just can't do it. You can fit. Like I've seen guys take big gulps, but once you start throwing the thing back. Like Joe Green in that famous commercial when he's drinking Coca-Cola, and even he had a couple times on a couple takes he had to stop and belch or whatever. There's no way you could do it with hard alcohol. But before we go any further, I wanted to ask you. You got a really cool tattoo on your forearm there of looks like an old school gun. What's the story behind that?
Smith & Wesson break top Schofield. I guess it was designed back in the 1800s.
Oh yeah,
and it's I just like the shape of it. It's one of my favorite designs. It's an old revolver, and
there's a place in New Orleans. I had an acting gig down there, and somewhere in the French Quarter, they had all these old guns and rifles. You ever been in there?
I've dropped way too much money in that place.
Yeah, I wanted to buy my dad this. It was a rifle from 1812, right? It was insane, and they even had the bayonet and everything. And my dad likes that type of shit. But the thing was, for me to get it from Louisiana all the way up, like, first of all, I couldn't get it shipped because Massachusetts has some sort of laws.
Right.
So then would have had to buy it and then drive it up there. And as I was crossing state borders, I just kept thinking about Tommy Chong when he sent the bongs out and shit. Right. And all of a sudden he had the feds at his door. And, who the fuck's going to drive from New Orleans all the way to Massachusetts and drive 55? It's not going to be me. I'm going to drive 80 at some point and be like, I'm fine.
It's tough. I think that
big musket hanging out the back.
Again, without getting into the politics of things, I mean, I just think that that things should be a little more standardized as far as firearms go. I think they should be. People should be given at least put through more schooling before they're given a permit, and it should be more standardized from state to state, because there are some states where it's easier to get firearms, and there are other states where it's really hard, and it's insane it's hard to keep track of it.
Yeah, and it's insane how in some states you can basically just go in and buy it and not have to prove any sort of capability. I mean, it'd be like giving somebody who doesn't know how to drive keys to a car. It's like they're going to kill somebody. But I honestly, I don't have a problem with guns. I think they're cool as long as the right person owns it, which is the big, of course, fly in the ointment. But what are some of you like the gun you just mentioned there? What are some of your go-to guns like some of the modern stuff? What do you like?
Well, I'm not really I have a few modern firearms. I collect all kinds of weapons. I've even got an old Greek sword that's made out of bronze. It's green and it's actually quite small.
So if somebody broke into your house,
those guys were very small. I mean, people were smaller then.
Right.
and so everything seems a little smaller. But anyway,
if somebody broke into your house, you can't tell me if they're coming up the stairs, right? And the only weapon you see is that old Greek sword. Part of you's got to be like, God, that cost me a fortune.
Well,
do I really want to run this guy through with it?
What they're going to be doing is focusing on that while I walk up behind them with my shotgun.
Oh, you're a shotgun inside guy, huh?
Well, I do have, they're reliable. They're
but what about
I understand is if you're in that situation, there's a level of panic that comes with it, and I've never been in that situation, fortunately, and I hope it stays that way. But I've never been in the Army. I've never been trained, and so I kind of look at things like the easiest thing that would be to have around for if somebody got that far. Would be something that would be very easy to use, and a shotgun comes into that heading. So, but again, it's like
it's an efficiency thing. I've always, because I've actually, toured through the South, and I always tell them they're out of their minds to have a shotgun in their house. I got a whole bit coming out on my next special about it, where I always think all you need is like a 22, because it's easy. My big thing is when you're in the dark, if you shoot, you can still hear. It doesn't. You've already lost your sight. It's not going to take away your hearing too. And people always laugh at a 22, but it's like, dude, if I had a loaded 22 and I pointed it at you, you're diving, you're running away. And if I started shooting you with it, you wouldn't be laughing, going, "This is a 22." I could shoot you with a BB gun. You can be like, "I'm going to get the fuck out of here."
People, and also it's kind of hard to tell, what it is you have in your hand. The whole thing is there's so much psychology that goes along with it, and I've studied a lot of that because again, if you're going to have, it's a great responsibility to own firearms. And I've done a lot of studying. I've worked with people. I haven't actually gone to any of the places where you can go to train, but I've talked to a lot of instructors and so on. And from what I gather, handguns are probably the least effective, even in the hands of trained.
You miss.
Trained people.
Is that what it is?
People miss. I think that Hemingway said that of all the weapons out there, the weapon that misses the most is a handgun, because there's so much moving and so much going on, and it's.
But I would think just the sound alone. I'm hearing a gun. I'm not going to be sitting there if I'm breaking in your house counting shots like they do in the movie, and then I'll be at the bottom going, Joe, I know you're out of bullets.
Yeah.
Come out with your hand. I mean, I'm not going to fight. The second somebody starts shooting at me, I'm thinking, I'm going to go rob another house. I would just think people would do that, but I don't know. You know what? I did see you on that show. Was it Son of a Gun?
Yeah, Sons of Guns. Yeah.
Sons of Guns, man. Yeah. That must have been fun as hell. For people who don't know, I don't even know if it's still on. There's so many friggin' channels and shows, but these guys it was like a hot rod show, except it was guns. And these guys would just make these insane weapons, and then people got to come on the show. You know, they'd weld like M60s to like the top of a Prius or something like that, right?
Right.
What did you get to shoot on that? Like some anti-aircraft gun?
They had a couple of hot rodded, so to speak, like M16s and things like that. So we shot those. But the main thing was I had this old cannon that was actually from the 1800s, and I really didn't know much about it. And they kind of cleaned it up a little bit and got into the serial number, and it was actually a military issue, and it was actually a naval gun. And when two ships are at sea and they want to transport like a cargo or a person or something back and forth, they need to send a line from one ship to the other. So they use this cannon, it's only about 3 feet long, and they shoot this lead dart over to the other boat, and it takes a rope with it. Then they attach a bigger rope to it, and then a bigger rope and a bigger rope, and then finally they have this pulley thing so they can transport stuff back and forth. So that's what it was for.
How many people do you think accidentally got killed on the other ship? You know, even though that they knew that they were shooting it over, it was just such not an exact science. You didn't really take wind. You know, you kind of wet your finger back then, right?
I have a feeling that people would probably keep their heads up watching where the thing was going. I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you go to a baseball game, somebody gets dinged in the head all the time. They're just fucking sitting there. Yeah. And these guys are like trying to hit 100 mile an hour pitches, and there's always somebody just sitting there eating and talking, and they always get hit in the chest, thank God. Like a few people have actually gotten hit in the head. But I got to ask you this something about cannons that I realized as I was talking to you. My only knowledge of cannons is what I've seen in cartoons. I'm not even trying to be funny here. And they try to make it look like, you know, the thing that they stick in there is like a little bomb, and then they shoot it and it explodes. But it's really just a giant ball made out of metal, and that gets launched through gunpowder, right? So there's this giant metal ball that pokes a hole in your ship and sinks it.
Well, some of them are from what I understand, because I've read quite a few historic novels, and that part of history fascinates me. You know, the tall ships and all that, and apparently some of the things they would put in there would actually be filled with gunpowder with a fuse. Okay. So when it would get shot off, it would, it was very inaccurate, and once in a while it would work, but it would land on the ship and hopefully explode, but whatever.
Well, that goes back to the dart. I'm saying it's very inaccurate. They'd shoot it, and somebody caught it in the leg, right? And then they got to saw it off. They just give them some whiskey, right?
I'll tell you, medicine was not anything near what we think of medicine, up to the end of the 18th century. It was like just basically that. If you got a hangnail, the foot is coming off, or it was really bad.
And then they would do that thing to stitch you up. They just stick your leg in a fire.
Yeah, quick, easy, cheap. So,
isn't it amazing, like the amount of pain that you can actually take? Do you know, I saw this thing. as far as like horrific ways to die. They had this thing, okay, you did something, they decided that you were going to die. And they had this giant, like, it was like a fucking brass cow or some sort of animal. It made out of some sort of metal, right? And they would stick you in the fucking thing. How they ever got you in, because I would have just killed myself. They stick you in the fucking thing, they close it up, and then they light a fire underneath it, and they would just basically cook you. I've always thought about that, laying in there as it's getting hot, bouncing all around like someone who fucking fell off a motorcycle, trying not to have the heat on you for too long.
Right.
It's just the fucking agony. And how these people could just sit there and... Who's that guy who used to... They'd put you on a... what the fuck do they call it? The Impaler.
Oh, yeah, Vlad. The Dracula, they called him.
I love how you said that like you knew him. Oh, yeah, Vlad.
Well, I mean, I've read that stuff, you know. I mean, we've all read it. We've seen it in movies. And you know, he's...
I actually watched
Vlad
YouTube
the Impaler,
videos.
and there, you know, what amazes me is the way that people have invented to fuck other people up over the years. It just blows my mind.
What's the worst one you ever heard?
Oh God! Well, that was pretty close. I mean, that really like that, and I can't imagine being. I mean, I love horses, but I can't imagine being tied to 4 of them. You know what I mean? And then having somebody yell, "Go, okay, pull a little harder." Not even like, you know, get up and go and like making it short, but like actually just kind of like.
Oh, they
slowly
wouldn't. They
walk
slowly
apart.
had him walk
You know
apart.
what I mean? That kind of thing. That sounds like a pretty rotten way to go.
For those people listening at home who don't, you basically they would tie, you know, your wrist to one horse, you know, your wrist to another, your ankle to one, you know, and they would walk in 4 different directions, and then they'd slowly fucking dislocate your joints, and then eventually just pull you apart.
And that's
I would just be screaming.
One thing I do want to say, going back to something we were talking about before, which was about, you know, home and home defense and all that. But one of the things that I've learned from talking to umpteen people about this, and that is that a dog, any size dog, is probably the most effective thing you could have in your house for safety. Just because the main thing is getting enough time to either deal with what you have to deal with, make the 911 call, you know, jump out the window if that's what has to happen, pull out whatever your last ditch weapon of choice is. But the main thing is buying some time, and a dog will basically send the guy off to somebody else's house, and then it's their problem.
I got a dog. My dog will do that like every once in a while. I'll be sleeping, and I get so terrified. I'll just sleep, and all of a sudden, the dog just starts going.
Yeah. Oh, you know.
And I sit there going like, what? And I sit up in bed. I'm such a coward, and I'm immediately like, and then I'm thinking like, I should have got a gun. I should have bought a gun. You know, I wish I had a bat here or something.
Well,
I got
bat's a good thing. Too,
yeah, I have a knife.
Know.
This cop told me a knife is stupid because you got to get in close. So at least have a bat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The dog, and again, a small dog, any dog that's, you know, becomes part of the family, he's going to protect the pack, and he's going to let somebody know. And that really, they on all the lists I've ever seen, they're like in the top 3 things you could have. It could be the best thing.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention
I got to ask. So we've got to wind down here because I got another freaking thing I got to run to. Once again, sorry that I didn't have a extra mic cord.
No, that's okay.
That was pretty
come
unprofessional, man.
Hey.
I didn't even mention
kidding?
you went over there twice because the other thing, first one you brought didn't fit my stupid mixer.
It actually goes to an old microphone that like an old style one that needs power. So it had two more extra prongs and it didn't work.
You're being too kind. The reality is I showed up unprepared. But let me ask you. Can I ask you some music geek questions here?
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever you want, man.
All right. The best live band, other than your own band, best live band you ever saw?
Well, I have to say, my theory is that a rock and roll show, if we're talking about rock and roll, is the interaction between the fans and the band. And a lot of times you might be in a club and it might not even be a big band, but they've got good songs and they're getting the audience off, and the audience is giving them love, and the band is giving it back, and you get that feeling like, wow, this is magic. And right then they might be the best band.
Right.
That night they're the best band, and you walk away and you feel great, and it was like an incredible show. So that's kind of like what we strive for as a band.
Is that what
we try and do that? Try and get that magic going, and that's the thing. You can't. I mean, you can line everything up, make sure the guitars are in tune, make sure everything's working, but it's really about hooking up with the audience and having that interaction and having that excitement. And I have to say that one of the shows that I've seen recently was actually the Stones. I mean, and it sounds like, of course, pick the Stones, but I've seen them on nights when they just weren't that good. I've seen them when they were really good back in the 60s. But this particular night, we were on the road in Germany, and they played a place in Berlin, and they sounded incredible. And it was one of those nights where everything just locked together, and you could see, 50 years of experience. You could hear everything. It was
wow.
a perfect venue. It only held about 5,000 people, and I was blown away. I mean,
Awesome.
I figured it would be like, it would be like, wow, they're really good for 70. No, they were as good as any band I'd ever seen, and they were as good as any of the great shows I saw in the day, and they knocked me out, man. I have to say,
who any young players out there. It's crazy now trying to figure out who the guys are because there's no centralized area for music anymore. But are there any young players out there that you watch them play and they inspire you? Like, man, I got to go home and practice, or I want to try to take my, like just as a comedian to try to relate it. Like, I love new comics, and I love seeing somebody. There's nothing I love more than seeing a young comic that I know is going to be great.
Right.
And you're seeing they got the hunger, they got the drive, they got the talent, and that they're going to, they're going to do it. That always gives me like a jolt of energy, because I remember what that was like, being their age and stuff, and like how, just sort of trying to recapture, like, because sometimes you can get into the grind of it. I was wondering if there was any like bands that are out right now that make you like, fuck, man, I maybe you're not near your guitar. And you're just like, fuck, I wish I had my guitar in my hand right now. I want to just start making music.
I don't know. I hear some good music. I was in the studio the other day, and there was a band that was being they were recording, and the vocal wasn't on it yet, but the music sounded like it had like some real potential. It's a really hard question, because it's like there are a lot of technically great players, and there's a few like really great players that are really young. There's so much on the internet. Back when I was growing up, I had to struggle to find somebody who even played guitar, much less get a lesson.
I fucked up my foot trying to figure out John Bonham's bass drum technique, because I was trying to do it with my big toe, and I was like arching my foot, and I got like what do you call it? That plantar fasciitis.
Really?
And now it's like you can go, because all I had was like a record player and speakers, and you stick in you slow it down, and now you just go on YouTube and somebody just shows you.
Yeah,
it's like a slide step. You just kind of move your whole foot, and it's like, your leg goes up once, but you get 2 hits, and it's just. And then I'm watching like some fucking kid, like 8 years old, playing all that stuff, and I'm just like, they can get like a year's worth of drum lessons or guitar lessons in one night on YouTube. It's incredible.
That's exactly it, and it's all spelled out, and that's why I think there are a lot of good guitar players out there that are technically good. They can play all the stuff. But still, it still comes down to writing a good song, writing something that is a little bit original and is entertaining, and it still comes down to that. You can be a wizard on guitar, But unless you're a guitar freak, as far as entertaining your average rock fan, you still got to write a good song.
You got to connect with
You know what I mean? And it's and no matter whether it's you got 6,000 computers and you got it's running through tape machines and all you got all the best equipment. Unless you got a good song, you still got nothing.
Yeah.
So that will never change.
All right, well, let me ask you, because I gotta wrap up here. As far as your book that's out, first of all, where can fans get it? I know it's on Amazon. If there's any local bookstores left.
Well, there's a few. Actually, there's a lot more than I expected. I went through probably 6 or 7 cities, and most of them we went to. I think we did a couple of Barnes and Noble, but we did mostly more mom and pop kind of places. But what I found out was most of them do their business online. And so there's some competition for Amazon. It keeps everybody kind of honest. Nobody's got a monopoly. So But basically, the best thing to do is either order from your local bookstore, support the mom and pop kind of places, or get it from Amazon. And right now, hopefully, it should still be on the shelves. And I know I signed a bunch of them, so there's still there's still an opportunity to get some that have been signed.
When people buy the book. Is there a favorite story or one that comes to mind? If you got a quick one that you want to tell here at the end, is it stories about you on the road with these guys? Is it the whole thing like Joe?
It's an autobiography from the time I put both feet on the ground. You know what I mean? It's 64 years, man, of life. And
I've been a
part
fan
of that is Aerosmith.
Yeah, I've been a fan of you for so long that I know some of the story. I already remember, you told some cool story in some other interview where you, how you ended up getting into guitar. You were a young kid, and there was these older guys sitting on the front porch playing guitar, and you're like, it just sounded really cool. It just sort of captured your attention. Personally, I cannot wait to read it, and I am fascinated with that whole period of music that you came up in, and I also like that whole thing where you guys, had to stick your ear to a speaker or try and slow it down. And because I find a lot of times when I mess around with guitar too, and I try to watch somebody play it, then turn my back to the video because people, the person will literally break it down, show you that where they put their fingers and stuff, and people will still ask for tabs. And I'm just looking at don't you ever want to have the freedom to basically, I've always figured becoming literate in music means you could listen to it and figure it out. Where if you always had to have tabs and everything, it was almost like you couldn't even read. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody had to hold your hand. And I think there's a lot of people out there that can really play all this shit. But if you just played it on a record, can you sit down? Maybe you don't need to do it anymore because there's someone who will break it down for you. But anyways, dude, I'm such a huge fan of you and your band and all the stuff that you guys have done. I never even thanked you for all the great music. I mean, it's basically a soundtrack of my youth.
Thanks.
I love all your stuff, and I'm so psyched for this book. I cannot wait to read it. Once again, it's called Joe Perry, My Life In and Out of Aerosmith. So psyched I finally got you here on the podcast. Good luck with the allergies. Thanks for sharing all your stories about guns and all this other stuff. I hope I asked you some different questions.
You did. It was great. And we'll have to do this again because I was looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it before the book. The main reason was because we're from Boston.
Yeah.
It's great to hear the accent. And
I know.
It's just
I can't get rid of it. I ran into, by the way,
we'll do it again. We'll talk about Boston some more.
Definitely. All right. Joe Perry, his new book, My Life In and Out of Aerosmith, is available all over the internet. And if you got a mom and pop store down the street and you want to help them out, bookstore down there, please go down and pick it up. Joe Perry, thank you so much for listening to the Monday Morning Podcast. Hope to see you soon, okay?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Anything Better podcast. And we are here for our NFL preview of Week 11 coming up with our sponsor, BetMGM, of course, the best lines out there. Last week, we didn't lose a game. Last week, we actually, I kind of stayed status quo 2-2. Did Bill, did you go 3-1?
Yeah, went 3-1.
Oh, Billy gained the game.
3-1. Yeah.
Wait, who was your who was your loss?
I'm making the prevent defense work for me.
Who was your loss? Your only
You know
loss.
who it was, you fucking asshole.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. When I went up against you.
I don't know who.
Don't do that, Sicilian.
I swear to God, dude.
Fell off the truck. I went head to head with you, and you picked the right team. There you go, Paul. There you go. You got it.
Oh,
look at that fucking hawk. Holy shit.
It fell
off. In Jacksonville, Florida, man. Remember we were down here shooting guns with silencers? Fucking alligator tastes like shit, by the way. It does not taste like chicken.
That alligator nugget was fucking horrible, dude. It made me sick, and I still remember the texture of it. It was gross.
It was horrible. Alligator is fucking terrible. Now I'll get a bunch of people going, well, it all depends on how you cook
it. Well, going into week 11, guys, before we get started, we have to talk about our great sponsor, BetMGM, the best lines. Up-to-date live lines, BetMGM. Get with them, and here's how you do it. How do you do it, Bill? Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. All you got to do is download the BetMGM app. And then you put a bonus code in, Burr. That's BURR. It's very simple. And guess what they're going to give you, guys? All you got to do is a minimum of $10 in the account, and you get up to $1,000 in free bets, even if you lose. Just download the app.
$1,000.
Download the app. I don't know, dude. I'm trying to fight a cold.
I've had it for 2 weeks.
I don't know what it is. I'm fighting it with rest and vitamins. But just use bonus code BURR. That's Burr. Bonus code Burr. Go. They're going to put in a minimum of 10. You get $1,000, up to $1,000 in free bets. So there you go. It's easy to use. The lines are live constantly, and here we go. So we're going into week 11.
You know why we're both sick, Paul? Because we got the vaccine. That's what they don't want you to know.
Yep. Ever since I got that Moderna, I've been a different person.
I've had cancer 4 times since I got Pfizer.
My wife told me I'm a different man. I'm not the man she married since I got injected.
Yeah. I got an x-ray, and they said I have 19 microchips in me.
Dude, I'll tell you what I did. And then we'll go into these picks. But you know this because you grew up in a dentist office. Dude, I decided to not get 1 implant, but I decided to get 2 in the same sitting. And, hey, I got to tell you, the last 70 hours haven't been great, okay? Dude, anybody does dentist work, do 1 at a time. That's what I've learned. It takes longer, do 1 at a time. Yeah, no, do the whole thing. I was fucking numb for half a day. It was brutal.
Yeah, but he gave you the option. You chose it.
Yeah, I go, can I do 2 in a day? And they just go, like, I should have known when they go, yeah, I mean, you can.
But don't blame the dentist always gets blamed.
He goes, you can. I go, okay. But
How about the fact that you destroyed your teeth and now you had to go in there? How the fuck do you need 2 implants at your age?
One just got something happened with one a long time ago, and the other
you
one
didn't take care of it. Okay, you don't brush and floss, and then the other one,
I floss.
Don't brush and floss.
I floss. This tooth got.
I'm not talking about how you dress, Paul.
I floss, Bill. I floss.
You got the chain out. There you go.
It's hilarious. All right, we're going into week 11. I actually think. Okay, call me optimistic. Hey, Hey, that's Paul. It's nice. He's optimistic.
Paul, the upbeat.
I think we're starting to learn about NFL teams now. That's why, So I think I've seen enough. I think we'll see though. Oh, Andrew, what are our records?
Addiction to wanting to know. It's a crapshoot every fucking week. When you're not winning, you're going like, I'm not seeing it. And then when you start winning, you're going like, you know what? I think I'm starting to know these teams.
I'm not winning, though. I'm not winning.
I think I'm starting to,
No, I'm not winning.
Really like.
I'm 500, dude. I'm not winning. 2-2 is not winning. I'm 2-2 or 1-3 every fucking week. I'm not winning. But I think Bill Parcells was right with what he said. And you know what Bill Parcells said? He said, you are what your fucking record is, and that's why the fucking Packers stink. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to have some hope here, Bill. I'm grasping for straws here. Andrew, what are our records?
I want to give you that Dick Gregory thing when he fucking yells at that kid when he talks about hope.
Oh, I saw. I know. I posted
You
that.
can't have hope, motherfucker. It's like, all right, dude, stop yelling at me.
Is Hope going to pay the rent? Is Hope going to pay the rent? Fucking Hope.
Don't say, I hope I get a cup of coffee this morning. Say, I will get that shit, motherfucker. And you're like, all right, Greg. All right, Greg.
Hey, he's having a rough morning, okay?
Hey, Richard. It's 8:30 in the morning.
What are our records, Andrew?
Bill is 18, 19, and
Don't ask what our records are. Tell us our records, motherfucker.
You think Hope is going to get you to 500? Bill, what's Bill?
18, 19, and 3.
Oh, that means technically
I got my nose hair above 500 with the ties.
You're over 500 by half a game.
I'm a half a game up.
He's beating the book, folks. He's beating the book. We're back. He's beating the book. What am I, Andrew?
I'm not beating the book. The book is fucking breathing down my neck.
17, 22, and 1.
17, 22, and 1. Okay, so I'm 4.5 games back. Okay. All right.
Paul didn't like that. That stung a bit. I saw it.
Yeah, I wanted
a white sweatshirt isn't quite as white right now. Paul's gonna have a big week.
You want to know something?
Big week next week. We're gonna hear about it.
You want to know something? My friend knows me well because I wanted that number to be 1 or 2 less. It bugged me. He knows. All right.
You look like that guy who took a punch. He was trying to pretend it didn't hurt.
Okay. Here we go. Week 11. I believe it's my pick first. I wouldn't have touched the Packers, but I was thinking about it. I'm glad we didn't do this yesterday. You know something?
The Green Bay packing it in.
What I did not like is the Jets-Patriots line changed by half a point, and it's the perfect change. So I don't like it.
What do you mean? What is it change? What is it?
It used to be Packers -3 at home.
No, Patriots.
I mean, I'm sorry. It used to be Patriots -3. Now it's 3.5, and that's a division rival. And they played the Patriots. The Jets played the Patriots really good last time until Zach Wilson floated up a couple interceptions. I think the Patriots could win. I don't like the 0.5, so I'm staying away. I was going to touch it though.
I must have old lines because mine still said 3.
All right. Here we go, dude. What are we going to do here? All right. I'm going to...
you're on the clock.
This is a crazy one, dude, but I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to do it. I think the Eagles got exposed a little bit. I think they're still a really, really great team, but I like the Colts at home.
You fucking bastard.
I like the
You're
Colts.
You're stepping on my bets, dude. I'm getting tired of it. The Colts have been my team the whole fucking year. I see what you're doing.
No.
I was going to take the Patriots. You fucking shit on that. And now you're coming, oh, yeah. Bill won last week with the fucking Colts. Now I'm going to do it because I've been riding the Raiders and the Packers. It's a copycat league, Paul. I see what you're doing.
Dude, I was complaining about the Colts when we were in Arizona live. Are you kidding me?
Copycat league, Paul. I see what you're doing. All right, where the fuck are my bets here?
I'll take the Colts plus 6.5 at home.
Oh, will you, Paul? And you get a nice big fat victory. You fucking.
I don't know.
Oh, dude, you're fucking. You know what you're doing? You're Lance Armstrong right now. You're drafting off of my bets.
Never, dude.
Paul actually took the Colts.
500. I'm going to start taking his fucking team.
Dude,
Paul actually took the Colts the first 2 weeks. Then
I don't want to hear facts.
And then nobody took the Colts all season.
Guys, I'm fucking around. Okay. All right. Bears +3 versus the Falcons. I'll take that.
Oh. It's a good one.
Listen, Paul, I'm trying to put the fucking juju on my fucking thing. Oh, whoa.
All right, here we go.
Was that a little negative fucking vibe on my bet there, Paul?
No.
Is this the cold medication, Paul? Or you're not the happy-go-lucky guy I love seeing every week?
No, man, I'm just deciding. Are the Giants due for a fucking disappointing loss, dude, against the Lions at home? I mean, they beat the Texans. The Texans.
Paul, you're just stepping all over my fucking dance shoes this week.
No,
every game you're talking about, I was taking. Go ahead, Paul. You son of a bitch.
No, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh, they call them all Paulie Hemming and Hahn this week. I have to listen. You fucking talked about the Patriots for 3 minutes and then say you weren't touching the game. Paul, people have to go to work.
All right. No, I like this week, and now all of a sudden they're changing lines by half a point because they know.
They know Paulie liked this week.
They know that
the word was in. Hey guys, Paulie likes this week. We got to change the lines.
All right, dude. I'm gonna take the Los Angeles.
It's just all right, dude.
I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Chargers plus 5.5 at home against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been doing something I noticed lately where they get off to fast starts, just like they did against Jacksonville, and then they kind of fucking go to sleep and they let teams come back. I think the Chargers are kind of have a little bit of a roll right now, and I like the 5.5 at home. I could see the Chiefs winning towards the end, and then the Chargers getting a fucking non-important touchdown to make it close and beat the book. I got the Chargers to cover plus 5.5 in Los Angeles.
All right. You took my fucking Colts bet. Let's see here. I actually like the Giants -3 versus the Lions. I think the Lions are a hapless organization. They're a family-run organization. They're everything the Giants aren't. The Giants from top to bottom are a class organization that knows how to fucking win football games, and they've always been great with defense. It's only 3 points. The Lions stink. I'm taking your Giants, Paul. I'm walking into your house, Paul. I'm sitting down at your table and I'm eating your fucking food. I'm taking your Giants. What is it? Is it 3.5 or 3?
It's 3.
Okay.
It's fucking 3. I should have taken them.
Well, Vegas knew you weren't, so they kept it at 3. So my dumbass would take it.
But I'm going to tell you what the lock of the week is. Okay.
I can't believe you didn't take it in the beginning. A good team coming off a loss on the road, coming home.
I'm actually going to take the road Washington Commanders -3. They are flying right now. They went into Philly. They won. They're getting their
Don't tell me.
Yeah.
It's copycat league, Paul. You're taking all my teams this week.
Whoa. What?
Taking all my teams this week. I had the Commanders Monday night. I called it that they were going to win. Now you're acting like it never happened, like Giuliani, like you were the one who cleaned up the city. I see what you're doing.
Oh, he's got to get some credit for cleaning up the city. I mean, he went on that pile. He said,
"No, he didn't. It was just fucking commissioner. It was Commissioner Gordon cleaned it up, and then he got rid of him. And it was like it was all me. It was all a dream."
I'm going to take the Washington Commanders -3 against the Texans. The Texans their defense is not good. They don't have a quarterback, and the Washington Commanders are getting their defensive star back, Chase Young, the Ohio State Buckeye, who fucking shot out of a cannon and then got hurt real bad. He's coming back. I got Washington -3.
You're out of your mind. You got to stay away from the Texans. You don't know who they are. They're a fucking stripper. You don't know what they're going to do. They're going to waltz you to the ATM, and they're going to fucking got a razor under their tongue. They're fucking crazy.
Dude, they're 1-8-1 or 1-7-1. They stink.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about against the spread.
Oh.
All right. I'm going to take the Panthers just because they're getting 13.5 points, and I figure the Ravens are going to beat the fuck out of them, take their foot off the gas, and give them a touchdown at the end of the fucking game to run down the clock, and that's going to cover it. Because nobody plays football, Paul, for 60 minutes anymore.
That line moved from yesterday, Bill, from 13.5 to 13.
Oh, you know why? Because they knew I was going to take. I don't give a shit. I'll take 13 points.
I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints -3 against the reeling Cooper Cup-less Rams. I think that I don't love the Saints, but I don't love the Rams either. I don't trust the Rams.
Paulie thinks the Saints are going to come marching in.
Yeah. I think the Rams are going to march in there and lose.
Rams all went to Applebee's after that Super Bowl, and I don't think mentally they've come back. I don't know what's going. I mean, look, injuries are injuries, but they are one of the most inconsistent fucking teams out there. They're coming off a brutal loss, though, Paul.
Yeah, I don't.
What's
I
the
think
spread?
they're 3
I don't like that game.
on the road in the Dome. I like the Saints. I think the Rams. No Cooper
I
Kupp.
love the Saints. I love New Orleans too. I don't know
Oh,
about
when
those
the Saints
I fucking hate
come-
the Rams. I hate these fucking teams that they just won't be who they are. You know.
Hey, Bill. Oh, when the Saints go
Go
marching in.
and they cover for Paulie. He's gonna get a pair of Air Jordans and start talking shit about the book. I'm seeing it now. I see the games. Sorry. All right, here's my one crazy pick for the fucking week. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I might take the Pats, laying 3.5, but are they gonna beat the Jets twice? Is that really gonna happen, Paul? Jets beat the Bills. I'm gonna stay away from that game too, Paul. As much as I fucking shit on you and your gorgeous figure skater hoodie, I'm gonna stay away from that game. And I don't know why, but I'm gonna take the Raiders getting 2.5 in Denver with my old division rivalry, which I've heard you're starting to come around to that, Paul. You're coming to that church of division rivalry games are always close. The Broncos with fucking Lando Calrissian as their quarterback, like nobody's fucking shooting the shit with them. They can't text them. I just don't think that there's anything going on in there. The fucking Raiders stink, though.
They do.
Fucking Raiders stink.
So does Denver, though. Both of those teams stink.
Denver stinks too. Who won that first game when they played each other? Andrew. Broncos. Did they go into the Raiders? Beautiful
I think it was
stadium.
I think it was a super close game, but
why did you take my Colts? Why did you fuck up my week and take my goddamn Colts? You know, I'm not saying I don't still love you, but like I really took that one personally. Of all the things you've done to me over the years, Paul, for you to take the fucking Colts in week 11. Hey,
what have I done? All I've done to you over the years is be a friend.
They lost in week.
Lost?
The Broncos lost in week 4 to the Raiders 23-32.
All right, fuck that. They're not going to fucking lose to them twice. They should, but they won't because the Raiders are the Raiders. All right, so now what I have to do, Paul, is I have to pull a game out of my ass over here.
You also got to get back on camera.
Yeah, I think you tapped the.
Hey, sometimes the mystery of it is what's great. You know what? Is that Bills Browns game still 7.5?
Yes.
I fucking hate that game, and I hate the Bengals Steelers. Like, who the fuck knows what's going to happen there? You know what? Fuck the Browns. The Bills came on off a heartbreaking loss.
Make sure you cross off the Raiders.
1-3 written all over it. This fucking week has 1-3 written all over it. Oh, Paulie throws a fucking wrench in there. Yeah, it's the Browns. Why do they have to be 7.5 though? They're gonna go into the prevent. Fuck me. That's all right. I'll take them. I'll take the Bills. You know, Paul, you can catch up this week. You know.
Let me ask you real quick, though.
I got a number for you. 1,455. What does that mean to you?
1,455.
Uh-huh. I just saw you in your high school career. Anytime you got asked a question, you repeated the question to buy some time, knowing full well you didn't have the answer. What is the Pythagorean theorem?
I know it. 1,455. The amount of times my wife broke my balls. Oh, okay.
That's how many days since I had a drink.
Oh my God.
How sad is that?
Dude, I'm on day 8. No, I'm on day 11 right now. I got to tell you something, dude. You can't. Being sober is the greatest thing ever, man. It is.
Paul, do you know why they say, when you're sober, you go, I slept like a baby?
Right.
That's because babies don't drink and smoke cigars. they're like, if you're raising a baby right, it's straight edge. It's completely sober. So when it's fucking tired, the only thing is they get mad because they don't understand being tired. But once they go to bed, that's it. They're out. They're out. Like they're like that sweaty head out.
Yeah. That nap. I know that nap. The little wet side, the wetness right here. Oh,
dude, my son doesn't want to get up. Sometimes I go in there.
I get it.
And I come walking in. I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to get up? And he just looks at me for a second. And he goes, like, all right.
Dude, the more I learn about that kid, the more, dude, my mom said her girlfriends thought something was wrong with me. They're like, didn't he go down for a nap at 10 and then like woke up like before dinner? Dude, I've been down. I like staying down. I play hard. I play hard. I rest hard. What can you do, Andrew?
I would have loved to seen baby Paul Verzi would have been the greatest thing ever.
Oh, dude, I was like one of the only kids that didn't rush up on Christmas morning. I was like, the presents aren't going anywhere. My younger brother would be like, he's not coming. They have it on camcorder, like the big camcorders. They walked into the bedroom. It's pitch black. And they go, come on. And I go, huh? And I go, you want to go? And you just hear my younger brother go to my parents. He's not getting up. Fucking Christmas morning.
Dude, you are hilarious. Your ancestors left the Mediterranean, but you never did. That shit. You get it. You understand.
Dude, remember we were on your bus? Remember we were on the bus tour? I'd wake up around 10:30, 11 every day on the bus tour, and I'd wake up to hearing Bartnick, Burr, and whoever else was on the bus sitting up watching TV, and I would just walk into the main cabin, and they would just start laughing with the look on my face. You remember that?
Because, dude, you would get up at 11:30, and you look like somebody woke you up at 4 a.m. Like, I've never seen a guy, like, you wake up, dude, there's an element of, it's the only time of the day that you're, like, visibly upset.
You say you look like somebody
hurt me. Acclimate to the fact that your sleep time is over.
Yeah, I remember you said to me once, you go, Verzi, why do you look like somebody wronged you?
Yeah, that's how you... I remember we did that tour through Canada. My whole fucking thing was, I figured you out quick. I was like, Paul has to make the first call of the day. I can't text him and ask when he wants. Dude, you were in the best mood. Every place we stayed, you came downstairs, you're like, dude, is it me? Or was that the greatest bed you've ever slept in your life? And all it was you got to sleep until we were getting up, dude. That was such a fucking great trip.
I had little babies at the time. They were really young. And dude, me and you were together every day. I believe 22 shows for 20 days.
22 or 23 days.
We did not fight one time because, we figured each other. That was when we figured each other out. Bill was like, all right, I'm going to hear from Verzi at 11. So we'll go to lunch. We just had it down, dude. You got to know your friends. I got
your tendencies down. I broke you down. I'm like, Paul likes to fucking sleep. I don't. That's going to be a problem. Leave him alone. Let him text you. Let him call you, Paul. That's that right there, Paul. That's how you fucking stay married.
That's what a friendship is.
Like, I figured out my wife's tendencies. I know the areas where I annoy her. I still do most of them, but I do enough of them, not anymore. I almost got lost in my own sentence there.
All right, we got Bill, you know what time it's. Bill, you know what time it is.
Oh, shit.
Oh, by the way, I have to say this about you, my friend. I have to say this about you. Okay?
Keep it to yourself.
Your fucking Washington Commanders call, not only forget the pick winning, forget the pick coming in. Okay? Because dude, you said why it would happen. And even though we didn't hit the Monday night special because that fucking asshole didn't throw a touchdown, everything else we had the over, we had the Commanders. He didn't throw. But people said, dude, I made some money taking Washington. Great pick. But Bill, you broke down. You actually said on camera, Paulie, not only do I think they're going to cover, they could win this fucking game. And then you said why, and that's what happened. Now,
I
if we
said
could,
they could, though.
nah, but
That
you said
doesn't
it
mean
with
I
conviction.
called it. I said that they were going to win it.
Well, what do you think this week, Bill? This week we got the
That reminds
Arizona.
me when the Patriots are undefeated and you were just going like, I don't know, man. I mean, I think the Giants could surprise some people today. You hedged your bet. So when they did, you were like, what did I say? What did you say? You said they could maybe win today.
You know what's funny about that game? I remember I texted you. This is before we kind of knew each other. I texted you, and you talk about feeling each other's tendencies. I started to learn about like what to say with you with sports when you don't know you versus what to say with you when you do know you. And I just go, dude, the Giants came to play today, and you just texted back, Paul, it's the Super Bowl. And I fucking almost fell down laughing.
I know. Still one of the most overrated victories of all fucking time.
I tell you what, Bill, they look like they're really into this game. They really look like they're into the Super Bowl.
I know.
That
whole fucking season was the most overhyped sports change that year.
Oh shit! Where's the line go? Hold on. All right, Bill, we got
the Giants fans go, what are you talking about? They were undefeated. And I always say, we played each other last game of the year. We won on the last play.
I was at that game, dude. That was nuts.
36 to like 33. And then 2 weeks later,
38, 35.
11 point, whatever the fuck it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. Dude, that was one of the best.
Oh my God, can you believe that team that it took them fucking 4 quarters to beat won the game? Dude, if we were like 17-1 going into that and then we lost to, it would have just been a great Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It is. It is true. And it's also true that all these fucking stupid quarterbacks now, none of them know how to run the 2-minute offense because you don't need to know how to run a fucking 2-minute offense when you're getting a 20-yard cushion and they're not even guarding the sidelines and you're getting free 20-yard first down timeouts the whole fucking way down the field. The fuck am I doing taking the Bills? I should have stayed with the Raiders.
What do you think, Bill? We got the 49ers going into Arizona Cardinals.
This week.
What'd you say?
Oh, fuck the Cardinals. They had their Super Bowl last week. They beat the Applebee Rams.
The line is 8, though. The line's 8.
The line is 8.
I know. The number is just...
Division rivalry games are usually close. What happened the first time they played?
I think the Niners won. Or is this the first meeting?
It's November. I bet it's the second. It's got to be. You never know. Sometimes they have a weird schedule where they fucking November, December.
Dude, I was talking on my podcast, dude. Thanksgiving is overrated. It's fucking overrated.
Paul, every time I think you're smart, you say some dumb shit like that.
No, it is. It is. It's the more I get older, the more I actually don't like it as much. It's still good, but it's not. I mean, it can't even touch. I mean, it's not even close to any other big ones. Because
like
you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why.
Wait. Like what?
Hold on. Let me tell you why.
There's only one other big one. There's Christmas. What are you going to throw Halloween in there?
No, Easter Sunday is, but Easter Sunday is, I guess it's not
Easter Sunday.
No, but
that's
Christmas.
Like in the USFL of fucking holidays. Easter Sunday is a joke. That's like, if I got them in my power rankings, they're slightly ahead of Flag Day.
You want to know what
Sunday?
No, you know what? I guess
that long ass fucking mass where they go all through the Psalms, Palm Sunday, and everybody walks out. I fucking hate from the ashes to the fucking palms.
Well,
I hate that whole fucking period. Lent.
This is my problem.
What are you giving up? Why don't you give up raping boys, you fucking cunts?
Hey, all right.
Wait, what the fuck is wrong with Thanksgiving? You don't have to buy any gifts.
No, here's the thing with Thanksgiving.
You eat great food.
Thanksgiving,
you get to watch your relatives fight with each other if you're above it.
But the reason why people will fight on Thanksgiving is a holiday where some people that you really sometimes don't love Dude, if you come to my house on Christmas or Christmas Eve, I have to love you.
What just happened?
No. If you come to my house,
you had the soothing sounds of easy listening, and then you just started screaming. You're like,
no,
Thanksgiving is a thing. You go to my fucking house. You went Dick Gregory on me.
No. If you're gonna be around my children in my house on
There's
Christmas
no hope
or Christmas
on Thanksgiving, motherfucker.
I love you. You know what I mean? I have to love you to be at my house on Christmas. Love, true love. Come on, my
God. It's about your immediate family.
Thanksgiving, you got somebody there that you fucking never see the whole year, and they could say something fucking dumb, and you're just sitting there with a fake smile. Can't wait till those people leave, where you could be with the people you really want to be with. And
that's not my experience on Thanksgiving, Paul, because those people don't get an invite. If you're a cunt, you're not coming to my table. That's on you. You're blaming the holiday, but it's on you.
I'm not saying
Paul, you have to be master of your own table. You got to be master of your own table.
Take away football. Take away football on Thanksgiving. It's over. It's fucking
Why?
The day's over.
Why?
If you took the NFL away on Thanksgiving, what do you got? You sitting around there with
all right, take away fucking presents on Christmas. What do you got? Bunch of people standing around a fucking tree.
Dude, you got the lights, you got the tree, you got the fucking songs, dude. Silent Night? Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? Silent Night is the
First of all, what did I say
shit.
about Silent Night? Why are you saying I'm out of my fucking mind?
What do you mean? No, I'm saying
Silent Night. Are you out of your fucking mind? You jumped into that like I just said Silent Night sucked.
No, you said a tree and everything. You're completely forgetting the great music. The amazing
music is for insane people.
No. It's for happy people, man. It's a fucking festive time.
Why do you look so upset?
It's a festive time. Because you're sitting here, you're trying to put
yelling at me about your festivities.
No, you're trying to put Thanksgiving on the same fucking level as Christmas. It's not even
I
close.
am not. You said it was overrated. You just said I like Christmas better. We wouldn't be yelling at each other.
I'm starting to dislike Thanksgiving the older I get.
You know what it is, Paul? You have a couple of people that you shouldn't invite, and you don't have the balls to uninvite them.
Hey, it's my wife's.
You're Italian. It's all about food.
Hey, it's my wife's fault, okay? There's certain things I got. There's certain things I got to hold in, okay? No, yeah, it's that you're actually that's right.
I got an idea. When that person says what they're gonna say to ruin another Thanksgiving, just have a bell and just be like, ding, 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 ding. There it is. Did you feel it? We were all having a good time. And then she opens yeah. And then you give her like the turnover chain or something like that. You put it around her neck. All right? And then she's just a fucking idiot for the rest of the.
I love that.
Chain. It's like the jerk off chain or something like that.
Dude, I love that. You just see a loudmouth uncle with a big fucking thing around his neck. It's like, all right, it was me.
Yeah, it's all like bedazzled. I ruined it. Well, you got to do that. You got to get a bell. Oh. You got to get the chain. It's got to say, I ruined it. I ruined Thanksgiving.
Dude, Bill, when me and Bill first, when I would confide in Bill about my relationship early, because I was one of the younger comics to have a family, I would call Bill and go, dude, here's the one thing. I don't know if you remember this. I go, here's the one thing. I go, Christmas Eve, nobody's fuck. I said it early to my wife. I go, Christmas Eve, I hold, just because of things when I was younger, my parents, when they were divorced, we would go to my grandmother's. It was the greatest night of my life, Christmas Eve. I don't compromise Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve.
Okay, so now you have Christmas Eve. So now what you have to do is what all powerful countries do. You now have to do an overreach. This is like when Germany went into Austria. You have to take Thanksgiving. Okay? You gotta create some sort of you gotta have fun.
Dude, do you remember you sent me those Cubans? Dude, you gave me a memory. I'm going to tell you something about what you did. You gave me a memory on Christmas Eve once where I just the timing of the day that it was in the mail, whatever happened, you sent me Cubans and they literally showed up to the house and my older brother's there, my younger brother's there. It was Christmas fucking Eve. And we opened this package and it's Cubans and it was from you. And me, my older brother, younger brother went outside and we smoked a Cuban on Christmas Eve. And I'm probably like at least 3-4 whiskeys in, wine. And I just was like, this is the greatest. And none of those people would fucking have been at my house on that were there on Thanksgiving.
Well, why don't you invite them on Thanksgiving?
I mean, hey, because they're family.
Have a draft, Paul. Stock your team.
Yeah.
And then you just run it down their throats. This is what you do. Whoever the asshole is, Paul, you get their tendencies down. And then what you do is you just say things that irritate them. And then that becomes the game within the game. I have a buddy of mine. His mother-in-law is a narcissist. And it used to drive him nuts. But now you know what he does? And this is for anybody out there. We all deal with narcissists. This is the way you handle them. You know what he does? He starts overly complimenting one of her friends. And it drives the mother-in-law fucking nuts. I mean, it's like I have
that
to
is
move.
One of the greatest things that I have ever heard. That is psychological warfare.
But he does it to her.
Oh, it's so great.
Well, say her name's Gail. He'll be like, Gail, I have to tell you something. Your friend Susan has got to be one of the nicest people, and he won't shut up. He won't shut up until she like fucking has to walk away. And when she comes back, he keeps bringing it up, and it becomes like fucking repellent. Like she won't go near him.
Oh, that's like the most genius thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. Like I'm telling you right now, Paul. All the fucking winners we picked this year, that's the fucking gift of the year right there. How to handle a fucking narcissist. Because they're literally mentally ill people that can hold down a fucking job, wipe their ass, and pay their taxes. So we have to interact with them. You can't stick them in a loony bin. And you just have to fucking deal with these people.
That's fucking great, dude. Yeah. And they don't want to come near you and talk to you because it's something that they don't want to hear. That's fantastic.
Right. Now, here's the thing. You know, if you can, you have to cut all the narcissists out of your life. You just have to do it, which I've done at this point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is tough because sometimes it can be a family member.
Well, that's the other thing too, you know?
Yeah, I don't do that Italian thing. It's fucking family. If you're an asshole, dude, cement shoes. You're right over the fucking side.
No, yeah, life's too short to not, especially in the holidays.
Yeah, Paul. So here's the deal. We found out what the real problem is. It's not Thanksgiving. It's not that, Paul. Who doesn't like to eat? Who doesn't like to sit down? You with your little glass of grape juice. There's no way you're wearing that white hoodie. I'll tell you right that on Thanksgiving. No fucking way.
Oh no, I get
you wear that. You wear that on Christmas Eve. Silent night. Looking like a fucking snowman out there. You would not do that on Thanksgiving. You're coming there in some autumn colors. You know what it is, Paul? I can already see it in your face. It's like you're walking into the building. You're anticipating a loss. You're not going there to win. I want you to win this Thanksgiving, Paul.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Thanksgiving, I'm always in a prevent defense. I'm in a prevent defense, Bill. I give too much of a cushion.
Dude, I think the turnover chain that says, like, you turned it over from a good time to a bad time, and it just says, I ruined Thanksgiving, is so fucking silly. Everybody's going to laugh. No one's going to give a fuck what the person said. The bell, some sort of those fucking weird, something from a joke shop.
Oh, dude, that's so fucking funny. All right, so are we going to take the Niners given 8? That's a fucking, I mean, we could, but
where's the game?
The game is in Arizona. The under-over is 43.5.
I take Arizona. Take the points because the 49ers will kick the shit out of them, and then they'll just fucking go into a prevent. They'll get a fucking, here you go. They're going to make a wish touchdown.
They haven't played yet this year. You would ask before. They haven't played yet.
What do we think about the under-over 43.5?
I think this game's going to be boring.
Yeah, under.
Under? All right. So now we only have one other question. So we're going to take Arizona +8 we're going to take under 43.5.
Uh-huh.
Do we do Jimmy G to throw one? Or do we do Christian McCaffrey to get a touchdown?
We're not going to bet on an Italian here?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Come here, you. Come here, you.
Great point. My fault. My fault. Good-looking Italian kid.
Because you're already anticipating a loss on Thanksgiving, Paul. You're not thinking clearly here.
Listen, you got to get me to December. Get me to December. I go on a win streak.
That's such a Sicilian part of you.
What? Yeah.
That Thanksgiving is dead to you.
No, it's not dead to me. It's just not my favorite anymore. It's not.
Oh, Paul, let me tell you something. We get the fucking eggnog going, right? Me and my wife, I taped the game. We watched the fucking the Westminster Dog Show. We had back-to-back years. We picked the fucking the winner. The one year the Bloodhound won. It was just like it was over. I mean, the fucking thing was gorgeous.
Well, here's my question: who comes to your house on Thanksgiving? How many people are in the group?
Hey, Paul, I'm master of my table. I have nothing but cool-ass people come to my table. This is a great thing when you're in your 50s. Like when somebody has nowhere to go on Thanksgiving, it's because they're an asshole.
Yeah. Yes, and I don't like that person coming. I don't like that. I don't like the.
I don't need some grifter who's in town for the fucking weekend coming in eating my stuffing.
No, and I got a fucking family member. Fucking that fucking wants that person there. Yeah.
Oh, we got trouble right here in River City. Yeah, we got trouble, buddy, because I don't have enough fucking seats for you.
Dude, don't get me started because I got a family member that they had nowhere to go. Can they come?
There's a reason.
No,
that's the fucking. That's I'm actually stepping on Bartnick's homeless joke. You're homeless for a reason.
Yeah, you're an asshole if you don't have a couch if somebody's gonna let you pick up on the couch. It's a great joke.
This game is in Mexico City. It's not in Arizona.
Oh.
And also the Niners have I think they're top rated. I think their defense is like number 1 right now. So
yeah, but Arizona's gonna come and want to play good in that environment too. The 8 points is good. Do you want to change?
Everything is pointing towards you take the fucking 49ers, and that's why Vegas wins.
No, and you know what? I like Arizona like on a big showcase night like that to kind of fucking division rival, man. I like it. They're
going to go down there, and a couple of players are going to do something stupid. They're going to party a little bit, and I think that's going to work in the fucking Cardinals' favor. Dude, back in the day, you could guarantee that. Now the NFL's run like a dictatorship.
Dude, you want to know what it is? I just figured it out, dude. You want to know what it is?
Your finger at me, you son of a bitch.
These people go like this. They go, hey, we just thought it would be nice to have them. They didn't have Thanksgiving. And they want to be they want the people there so they look like I brought them. So you know what they do? They go to work and tell people, we didn't know that they didn't have anybody. We brought them there.
Tell John Candy there's half a car to keep driving.
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
If Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was a real movie, fucking Steve Martin would have popped a bottle of champagne when he finally got on that train and said, I'm out of this fucking nightmare, and left him at the train station. Great movie, though, by the way. John Candy, legend. Rest his soul.
It's a great movie.
All right. So there you go, guys.
So Jimmy G's going to throw one.
Jimmy G's going to throw one. We're going to go
under. Is he going to run one in, Paul?
That counts, right? Either way, Jimmy G for a touchdown.
No, we got to be specific.
We got to be specific.
Yeah.
He's not going to run one. He's a throw. He's going to throw one. And he's got the weapons to throw it to, too. So, all right. So Jimmy G to throw one under 43.5. And we're going to take the Arizona Cardinals getting a snowman.
Getting 8.
Yes. All right. Well, there you go. We got our picks here. You got our picks.
So there's a guy going down the river in literally what looks like a box. Like there's nothing aerodynamic. It floats. I don't know what I'm in Jacksonville, man. Shit gets a little wild out here. All right, that's the Monday night special. That's the anything better.
Hey, Bill, what are you doing for breakfast today? Are you going eggs Benny or are you going omelet? What's going on over there?
I'm going to the gym, and then after the gym, I'll probably get like an apple or an orange.
Hey, Bill, you going to have a gator omelet? I'm telling you, man, with the eggs.
It tastes just like chicken. No, it doesn't. It tastes like a fucking reptile.
Yes,
That's what
does.
it tastes like.
All right, guys. Well, listen, I just want to tell you.
I got to take this phone call.
Have a good Friday.
Au revoir.
All right, everybody. Well, there you go. That was mine and Bill's picks for NFL week number 11. I can't believe how this season is, dude. I can't believe that this season is going as fast as it's going. But we want to let everybody know that we're having such a great time with BetMGM, and we want you to get involved, and we want to make you some money. We know that this Monday night special year, we've been close. We're going to try to get one for you, at least one. But make sure, man, the way to use the BetMGM app is very simple. All you got to do is go to the App Store and download and get the BetMGM app. All you have to do is put in bonus code Burr. That's BURR. It's very, very simple. You could put as little as $10 in the account and you get up to $1,000 in free bets, even if the bet loses. Just make sure you put in bonus code Burr. That's BURR. You can go on the app, and when you click on the NFL, you will see the Monday night special, anything better on the site. Click on that and ride with us with whatever, Monday night special. You put a little money on there, and hopefully we make you some money with that. Also, this is the other thing too, Andrew, that people could do if they were like, hey, I love their pick with the points on the Monday night special, but I don't know if I love the under over. You could actually, even though it wouldn't be part of our thing, you could go, hey, I like Bill and Paul's, because that's what somebody said about the Commanders last week.
Build your own bet. Yeah.
That's what somebody said about the, actually, I'm glad we're talking about this because we never talked about this before. People reached out to us and go, hey, thank you guys for picking the Commanders against the Eagles. I went with that. And they won money. So they didn't necessarily have to do the under over and the other thing for our thing, but they could go, hey, I went with that. And we did make some people some money with the Commanders. So if there's there's sometimes I like a part of our Monday night special, but I'm hesitant on the other. So you can do it that way as well. Dude, yesterday, this is a little inside baseball we'll give to just a couple minutes of overtime. I gotta get out of here. My wife's home. I talked to Andrew yesterday, you remember, and I go, hey, dude, because this is coming out just a little bit late, 12 hours later.
We weren't able to record.
We weren't able to record yesterday with like traveling and stuff. So this is coming out basically 12 hours later or whatever than it normally would. But I said to Andrew, dude, the Packers are coming off a win. They're home. I know I'm staying away from them. The line is 3. I don't know if I would have picked them. Should I? And then I actually talked myself out of it with you. You know something though? They still got to prove it. Like I can't, it is the Titans. The Titans are a good team. And then I'm driving to the city last night and I'm listening on the radio. Oof. And they're like, Packers down 10 late in the 4th. And I'm going, woof. So I heard the Packers need to either run the table to have a chance. So I think it's pretty much over it's over for Green Bay.
Well, you mean for the year, of course. Yeah. There's no there's no momentum. Nobody's. Yeah.
No, the only window the Packers would have is to run the table from now until week 18. And I don't think that they just clearly don't have the power to do that.
Some games that you guys didn't cover. Bill almost took the Raiders. That team is in shambles. That team was pronounced dead last week.
Dude, it's funny you said
and
that.
The Broncos also, I've maintained since like week 4. 3. Anyways, Bill, I think maybe saw a little bit of Russell Wilson's past in his present, thinking like, oh. But he's not. He's terrible with this team. He's terrible with this team, and it's not all his fault. But he gets at least a third.
No, it is a little bit of his fault because when you're not giving your own teammates your phone number, when your teammates are asking for your phone number and you're going talk to my people, and that's the guy that you got to be protecting, and that's the guy that's your fucking. I said on Good Morning Football, I said he's the new Ellen. And that's, you can't have that, but I agree with you. I think that, well, look, I'm 4.5 games back, right? I'm 4.5 games back of this thing, and take away my Packers picks and my Raiders picks, and I'm probably somewhere right there. But I believed that I believe that Aaron fucking Rodgers, who still can throw it the way he could throw it, I believe that they were going to do something. I was wrong about that.
When you say do something, you just mean win a few of these games, or do you mean like be a playoff contender?
Yeah, no, I mean like these games that I pick against the spread. You know, I mean, dude, there was a game where I picked the Packers and I think they were dogs. Like the Packers were dogs against a team they couldn't and should beat a year ago, and they just can't now. It just goes to show, dude, like you need you know, and listen, man, it's never good, dude. It's never good. This is one thing that I think people need to, and I think people know it, but need to pay attention to. When your quarterback is in the news a lot for things other than football, okay, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a domestic dispute. I don't care if it's a political view. I don't care if it's whatever it is. But when your quarterback, especially when your quarterback is publicly criticizing the organization he plays for, when you start seeing those things, when you start seeing a guy that's been a staple go, yeah, well, I mean, listen, if we could get a good offensive game plan,
and all
that's
that
a
comes
direct
down,
shot.
All that comes down to is that, like, literally, it all just comes down to, are you executing plays? And that's why Belichick is the way he is, because everything is within, he draws a circle around himself and his team, right? And it's just like everything on the other side of that line, everything else has nothing to do with what he's talking about. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything else. He's hyper focused and he's hyper vigilant at the task at hand. That is a reduction of every quirk that Belichick has. It's just, that's what it is. Now, have there been times where maybe that's either backfired, or maybe that like line of thinking is what led him to wanting to trade Brady and keep Jimmy G? Like, I don't know. Like, that's gossip stuff. But yeah. So as far as that goes, yeah, you can't have a quarterback in the news. Because
I agree with that.
It's outside of the lines. You can't go outside the lines.
I agree with that. I like that analogy too, of like inside the circle and then outside of it doesn't make sense.
Everything. Yeah.
Dude, think about this, dude. Russell Wilson, who like is not on great terms with the team, while they're sleeping on the airplane going to London, he's exercising up and down the aisles, doing high knees up and down the aisles, trying to and dude, that like those guys are going like, what the fuck is this guy? Like when you start hearing shit like that, you know what Russell Wilson needs to be doing on an airplane going to London? He needs to be playing fucking cards with his offensive line, laughing and being like, hey, dude, when we get to London, dude, dinner on me. And let's fucking be a family and let's go fucking show the NFL that we're here. That's what a guy needs to do. And when you do things like that, you're like, oh, I'll die for that dude. I'll fucking die for that dude. Yeah. To put it this way, if I'm going to say this, dude, if Paul Verzi was an NFL quarterback, I would have those guys, dude. Those guys, I would be buying. Dude, my center would just show up to his mansion, and there would just be a Rolls Royce there, and there'd be a fucking sticker on the window from me that said "Thank you."
Yeah, I mean, like it's like you say that, and then you start thinking, like, am I going to buy this guy a Rolls Royce? I mean, like he could roll his ankle next week, and then I got to buy the new.
Well, no, yeah, probably not a Rolls Royce, but like
I know, I'm just saying.
I would probably, I would go maybe like not Rolls
Royce. Start talking yourself out of it.
No, maybe like the new electric BMW, something, something like nice little toy for my,
Yeah. A to B.
But,
get him an A to B car.
Yeah. But here's what I'm interested in. If I can fight back in this and fight back and crawl to 500 in the next couple of weeks, hopefully knock on wood, and still have had those Packer losses, I'll be all right. I'm happy that Bill is above 500 by half a game. And I have some work to do to crawl back, but I look at it like this. I was 8 games back 2 weeks ago. I was 8 games back, and right now I'm 4.5. Now, I don't know. I could have a bad week. Maybe not. We'll see. But I hope everybody's enjoying these. And
I think the Philly Colts, I think that's probably the craziest one.
My Phillies Colts is crazy, especially Philly coming off of
there's nothing about the Colts. There's nothing about the Colts that are going to overwhelm the Eagles.
Well, there's one thing. There's
6.5. It's not 8. It's not 7.5. It's 6.5.
There's one thing about the Colts that I like. and it's that their running back, Jonathan Taylor, is really starting to come back and get a groove. And I also saw how the Washington Commanders just ran against the Eagles, and they ran down their throats in Philly.
You got to lose
once.
Listen, I mean, when the Patriots had probably one of their best years, I think it was 2000, and it was the second Super Bowl, and we I think we lost to I'm blanking. I believe it was like week 2 or 3, the Texans. And I remember people going like, "Oh man," and it's just like, and then you look at that whole year, and it's like, we never should have lost to that team. You know what I mean? Like, we never should have lost to that team. Maybe it was the Titans, maybe not. We're even around. And
I can tell you that. I can tell you this. My Colts pick is either going to be really bad or really good. Yeah. I think they're either going to get blown out or it's going to be like, fuck, that was a good one. But listen, man, I got to shake it up. I got to get back.
No.
So there you guys, that this has been the preview for week 11. I'm kind of sad that we're 6 weeks away from the NFL, almost being 7 weeks away from the NFL being over, which is like, I feel like it just started. And hey, my Giants are 7-2, Andrew.
That's fun. That's fun. You got something. You got a end of the season.
Do you now? Here's my last question for you before we get out of here.
Sure.
Do you think that the Patriots beat the Jets -3.5 in New England or no?
I actually think we win this game outright, money line. I don't know about. Do we win by
3.5 is tough.
Do we win by 2 or 3? Yeah, I mean, I don't. That's not even. I don't know. We could win by 2. We could win by 10. I don't know. I just think we win. I think we
last second field goal by 1. Could see that.
Yeah. I mean, but that's why, I don't. I would never on this game. I would never take. I would never go against that 3.5. I would just take money line if I was, if I was taking that game this week.
Yeah.
I think they win.
Yeah, no, I think the Patriots win the game. I just didn't like that half a point.
They're the same team. They're both week to week teams. I mean, it's like they're 5-4. Jets are 6-3. I mean, it's not like Pats could have won one of those games in there and easily been 6-3. So, yeah, I think the Jets, because they suck so much, and it seems like they've been playing, fairly well considering what they have, and they've won some big games. It seems like they're better than they are because they've sucked. And the Patriots feel like they're doing worse because they're usually at least contenders. Anyways, that's my take.
Actually, that's actually a really good point. It's like the Jets are playing good. They're playing good defense. They're winning some games. But for the Jets, it looks even better because they're kind of almost, you feel like it's a rebuild with the new coach and all that stuff. And then with the Patriots, you've just been such a staple in the NFL for the last 20 years that when there's even a little bit of a dip and no Brady, you're like, oh shit. So somebody said something recently. It was LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy. And he said that he thinks Bill Belichick is and without Brady, he's an under 500 coach. And he goes, he's a good coach, but he goes, with Brady, he's what he was. He goes, I don't think he's that good. I don't necessarily agree with that.
That stat's bullshit. Anytime I hear that stat, that's bullshit. When you say that somebody won, if they had one quarterback for 20 years of their career, and then you take the average of the average that any coach has in his career of a good having like a star quarterback, it might be 1 out of 5. So now Belichick needs to coach 2 or 3 more quarterbacks, right? Considering he had Bledsoe for a little bit and then Brady. And then now we'll just, I guess this is where we're at now. I mean, we haven't really had too many in between. I'm not going to count what's his face. But so I think it's well, if he has 6 more quarterbacks and he can't make it happen in 20 years, then maybe you could say, he's only 500. But right now, with a 20-year quarterback, it's like, well, he's under 500 without Brady. It's because he's been with Brady the whole time. What kind of stupid stat is that?
I love that. I love that. You're 100% right. And that's like saying, oh, well, what would Bill Walsh do, rest his soul, if he wasn't with Joe Montana for all those years? It's not fair to say that a guy figured out a system with a guy and they worked together great. And then all of a sudden one of those pieces leaves. They go, oh, well, he's not that good of a guy. It's like, it is kind of bullshit. It's kind of some hate and shit. All right, everybody. All right. We are done. This has been week 11 preview. Me and the Greek Freak give you a little overtime, give you a little inside baseball on the thought process on where we are right now. We think it's kind of cool. Some of the fans mentioned that they liked it. So you know what? We'll fuck around. We're not going to do this every time, but, we'll talk a little shit. I hope everybody enjoys. This is the last week before the Thanksgiving games. My Giants are playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving in Dallas. That gives me the willies even thinking about. I'll get into that next week. Enjoy your week. Bet responsibly. Download the app. Bonus code Burr. Put in as little as $10. You get up to 1,000. Enjoy, everybody, and we will see you next week. And remember, guys, to bet, you got to be 21 years of age or older to wager in Arizona, Colorado, D.C., Iowa, Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, or Wyoming only. New customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Colorado, D.C., Nevada, Wyoming, West Virginia. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan. 1-800-GAMBLER in Indiana, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789 in Tennessee, or call 1-888-777-9696 for Mississippi. Sports betting is void in Georgia, Hawaii, Ohio, and Utah, and other states were prohibited. Promotional offers not available in Nevada.